Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important, just a question asked. Waiting on the cast and the crew to get in. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. We say we're gonna be here 7 o'clock in the morning. So check your clock, and write it on your calendar. Yes, we are here 7 o'clock in the morning. So I definitely want to thank everybody that's going to join us, that's already joined us, and that is going to join us today. Got a couple of topics we want to talk about, but what I want to throw out there first and foremost is, the midterms are right around the corner. The midterms are right around the corner. Please take some time. Take your time. Early voting is going on. Actually, early voting is going on right now. Early voting is going on right now. So if you have an opportunity, come on, go out there and vote. Please go out there and vote. Let your voice be heard. There's so much stuff going on in the media. There's so many different commercials and advertising going on. People lying right and left, talking about this person, that person. But I want you to search your heart. Excuse me. I want you to search your heart, search your entire heart, and vote for the person that you feel is the best suited. They got this big thing going on here in the state of Georgia. Herschel Walker, Raphael Warlock. I'm saying his brother's name right. Who are you going to vote for? If you look at the news, both of them are garbage. If you look at the news and look at how they're trying to smear each other. But there's some things that you can't overlook. There's something I saw the debate. I didn't look at it live. I actually watched it again, the rebroadcast, or if you will, on YouTube. I went in, I watched it on YouTube, and there's some things that went on in that debate. Now, would I say that Warlock did the best that he could have done? I don't think so. I think, excuse me, I think that he should have went in a little harder on Herschel. I think he should have, truth of the matter, ate him up and exposed him for who he was or who he was not. But he did not, and he danced. And truth of the matter, Warlock danced around a few of the questions. He danced. He was tap dancing a little bit, and that shocked and surprised me because he is a senator. He is a pastor, and he know how to deal with the public. And to see him dance around some of the questions, man, that didn't sit very well with me. But then his counterpart, some of the things that he did, and the childish behavior that his counterpart had, even to the point where they had discussed what they was going to do or what they were not going to do. And excuse me, and I think he waited on that opportunity. I think he waited on an opportunity to take that little fake badge that he got, to take it out and display it. And they talked about that. They had some conversations about that. And in their conversation, they said that that is the equivalent of a little Boy Scout badge. Don't have any arresting power at all. But he put it out there proudly and spoke very adamantly about it. Spoke very adamantly about the fact that, I am a law enforcement agent. No, brother, you ain't no law enforcement agent. How you gonna go out there and arrest someone? Well, if that the case, I could do a citizen arrest on somebody. I don't need a badge for that. I don't need to go to do my Cracker Jack box and get and find a badge in a Cracker Jack box and say that I'm law enforcement. They say that they got the commercial that just came out maybe about a couple of weeks ago, where they said a Warlock wife said that he abused her. I don't know the validity of that. There's a commercial that's been circulating for a long time, for about well over a month now, about Herschel Walker's wife saying the things that he did to her, put a gun to her head and all kind of different things. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now. You have to wait through and select what you think or who you think is the best. I can't tell you, or nor will I ever tell you who to vote for. I will tell you who I'm voting for. I will tell you who I'm voting for, but when it comes to telling you who to vote for, that's something I won't do. That's something I would not do. Um, yeah, I would not. As a matter of fact, I'm not even gonna vote. I think you know from my conversation this morning who I'm going to vote for, who makes the most sense to me. That may not line up with what you want or who you're looking for. It may not line up. It may not line up at all. It may not be the same. As a matter of fact, may be totally different. And there's other races going on. And see what the big thing is right now. They're trying to the Republicans are trying to grab the House back. They want to be in Congress. They want to grab all that stuff back so that they can do the things that they want to do. Is it in the best interest of you or me? I don't think so. I don't think so. This situation, the abortion, I was going to put a name on it, but the abortion situation that just happened, that was just overturned not too long ago. Is that to the best interest of everybody involved? How do you feel about it? As a matter of fact, the phone lines are open 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Let us know how you feel about this whole situation. That abortion situation, man, how they overturned it. Do you think that's best? Do you think and you may very well say yes. You may very well say no. But let me know what you think. Let me know what's on your heart concerning this whole abortion situation, how they overturned it. Say that a woman does not have, even in a situation of rape, they say that she don't have the right to have an abortion. I would love to know how you think about that. Give me a call. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Love to hear from you. There's like I said, there's so much going on right now. There is so much going on. Um, nah, not, I was ready to go into something else, but I think I'll stay right here for a minute, man. And I want to know from each one of you what you think about what is going on, how this whole thing is playing itself out. Is it politics as usual? That's I think that's the part we need to look at as well. Is this politics as usual? Is this the Democrats and the Republicans just going through the motion? Politics as usual. They're gonna do what they have to do to win. They're going to say what they want, what they have to say, if you will, to win. What do you say to that? Again, 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Waiting to hear that bing. And when I hear that bing sound, I know somebody done called in here. And hold on for a second. I'm multitasking. They're gonna sound. See, you hear that? See how the thing work? It's a great thing when you got family and friends that look out for you. Now, oh Lord, we got a heavy hitter. We got a heavy hitter. One of my heavy hitters are here. Mr. Hicks.
Good morning, Raheem.
Good morning, sir.
Hello,
How
family.
you doing this morning?
I won't complain. Just chase your way.
There you. And you know what? And I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of times, if you do complain, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen now. You're gonna sit there, go to push you complaining to before 10, 15 minutes, they're gonna be complaining right along with you. Y'all gonna be having a complaining party.
Yeah, I know, yeah. And both y'all get up feeling worse.
Exactly. Walk away. Hey, look, ain't nobody accomplishing nothing. Ain't nobody accomplishing nothing. Boy, y'all, you walk like you
Yeah,
say.
I wake up and I wake up and try to find something to be appreciated of.
Exactly, and that's a beautiful day. That's a beautiful way to look at it right there, man. Because I'm gonna tell you something.
Mm.
Life is so complicated. Life is so complicated, and things happen to us all the time. And that actually veered me right into the topic what we're gonna talk about today. But I want to, before we get to that, I want to ask you, what do you think about this whole situation? Because it's time. The midterms are coming up very soon. As a matter of fact, next
Hmm.
month midterms. Is it just politics as usual? Is it just politics as usual? Are the Democrats and the Republicans just doing what they have to do to win, saying what they have to say to win? Is it just politics as usual?
Uh, I think let me get my speaker on here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you loud and clear. You come through very good.
Okay. Just getting out, coming in from the truck. It, I mean, it seemed like it's different. But over the years, as I look back on, I remember when I was in the psych ward once,
Mm-hmm.
and in the psych ward they had a book out there in the VA hospital that covered all the presidents in the election.
Mm-hmm.
I had nothing but time, and I went there and looked through that book, and it's so funny to think that everything that's happening now is always happened again in a different context in
Mm-hmm.
terms of elections.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been this struggle, and I think that's necessary. I mean, anyway, it's for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
But
go ahead.
I don't know. Yeah, well, it seems like every time election going on, here they be saying this is the most important election. We need your vote this time because this is a pivotal point in the history of our country. We need you to get out there and vote because this is. As a matter of fact, if some other guys take over, they're gonna tear everything up. They is looking out for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Looking out for it's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's the same song, huh?
I don't. Well, I've learned how to, like I said, 2016, 2016 when Trump ran, I spent all those years with fighting,
Mm-hmm.
just fighting people just to look at things, not just be pulled by the media. I mean, really, everybody around me.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard to find somebody that was real, that would say, "Yep, I don't like it, but it's happening." It was almost, like gaslighting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
They want to get out. I don't see what I see, but yeah, it's the same kind of thing. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking out of breath right now, bro.
It's okay. It's
Just walk
okay.
upstairs.
Hey, you
Go to
doing
the next guy.
you do hey, you're doing good, brother. You're doing good. Curtis, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Curtis, you there?
Yeah, what up, Raheem? Man, he all right?
Yeah. He good, man. Hey, running up them steps, brother.
Almost. I'm okay now. I'm all right.
He at the top of the steps now. He okay. He done made it to the top. He have overcome. He made it to the top of the steps. But yes, sir. Yeah. My brother's doing good. Curtis, I'm asking a question, man. We're going to get into a topic right now, but I want to ask you this question. And we have Rico with us. I want to go to him as well, hear his heart on it. With the midterms being here, Curtis, is it just really truth of the matter? Is it politics as usual? Is it that the Democrats and the Republican will say whatever they want to say? Like Mr. Hicks just said, if this is the most important election of our lifetime, we've heard that a million times already over the course of different elections. But they're saying it again today, or saying it again during this particular forum right here. Said it's the most important. If the other party win, it's going to destroy this, it's going to destroy that. Both parties are saying this. So basically, is it politics as usual? Are they just doing what they could do to win so they don't lose the seats in the Senate and all those different things? Curtis, what do you think about that?
No, I think the call for this is the election of a lifetime. Um, you could kind of equate that to the boy who cried wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Now the wolf is actually here. The wolf is in the house.
Mm-hmm.
The wolf is in the chicken pen. He calling wolf and ain't nobody listening
Mm-hmm.
because he kind of started it too early. But I mean, understanding that the actual environment of what's going on, the last, uh, ever since 2001, ever since the Democratic establishment, along with several Republicans, balanced the books, um, which was the first time in a very long time that the actual books was balanced and there was a surplus of money left to the next administration. Um, Ever since then, there's been a cause to get people to vote.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I do see is that um, this is a call to action to set on the sideline now. Um, to set on the sideline now would say that I'm gonna make a bold prediction, but if we sit on the sideline, man, this country is gonna become a dictatorship. Just pay attention to the moves, pay attention to what's going on. When you say business as usual, no, it's not business as usual
Mm-hmm.
because people are starting to realize the power in the protest,
Mm-hmm.
be it good, bad, or indifference. People are really starting to realize the power in the protest. So, um, No, I think there's a collection of, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. I think there's a collection of Republicans and Republican candidates that seriously want to keep it business as usual. And the reason that is because if you keep it business as usual, guess what? You keep adding to their pocket.
Mm-hmm.
See, business as usual is these these individuals being able to capitalize on their seats and and gain large amounts of wealth.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's not business as usual because now you can't do that without it being reported. Be it if somebody want to believe it or no, you cannot do that without it being reported. Oh, such and such got paid $30 million from such and such and such and such. No, we putting that out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's business as usual. I think it's the total opposite, brother.
Okay. Okay. That's the way you feel, like I said, and that's what I want everybody's opinion, and so we could gather all the information that we have and build this soup, this gumbo, if you will. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain, man. I'm just out here burning with the universe before the birds wake up, man. It's glad to see another day. You did hear me.
Look here, Rico. Man, you the fella, man. You wake the rooster up in the morning. You wake the rooster. The rooster's supposed to in the morning, wake everybody up, bro. You go out there and kick that rooster, don't
Man, I got out here yesterday morning, man. I think it was like 3:58.
you? Yeah, that rooster looking at you like, man, what's wrong with him, man? What's wrong with that fella? Don't he sleep,
Hey,
man?
man, you gotta get those 10 miles out the way. And sometimes when you roll over and that energy come to you and you realize you ain't dreaming no more and you ain't going back to sleep, why waste time? Might as well gonna get up and get it.
There you go. There you go.
It's like my body called for it.
Mm-hmm. And you won't feel right. You've been doing it so long, Rico. I'm gonna tell you something. You won't feel right if you don't, brother. You won't feel right.
No,
Your
I
day
don't.
won't go right.
I don't got used to it now, man. It's like I'm almost wanting more.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Let's talk about this situation. Is it politics as usual, man? Democrats and Republicans, man, they doing what they want to do. They saying what they want to say. All this smear tactics that's going on right now, man. Is it politics as usual?
It depends on how you want to take it, but true enough, it is, and that's the reason why you should always be involved as usual.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
like we did with Obama.
Yeah.
We should have kept that being usual.
Mm-hmm.
You see, this is the thing about politics. Government never ends.
Mm-hmm.
It's always evolving. Pretty much everything in life we do is evolving. But the thing about government is always somebody trying to get some rights, and there's always somebody trying to take away some rights.
Mm-hmm.
There's always somebody out there just trying to get something that won't benefit you or might hurt you. Like Curtis said a second ago. After Clinton left office, the books was balanced. We was in the surplus.
Mm-hmm.
So what fools got in there and got us back in the wrong direction?
Yep.
And why?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you don't participate and understand that your business as usual should be to make sure the people that are in these seats don't work against your best interest, but for your best interest or for the best interest of all, then you need to make that your business as usual too.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
because we know there's corruption that goes on.
Yes, sir.
So some people could say it's business as usual, just throw their hands up, watch it happen, and then keep complaining for the next 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Or they could say, well, you know what? I'm finally seeing now the reason why they continue to be able to do it, because the people that are complaining don't participate. See, it's a way that they get into those seats.
Mm-hmm.
And they want it so bad that they'll cause conspiracies. They'll say the ballots were mismarked
Mm-hmm.
because it was stolen from Gore.
Yeah. Yeah.
But sometimes if people actually participated, and when you really look at the demographics and know, you know what I'm saying, where people stand in as far as class goes, if everybody participated the way they were supposed to, and if everybody had their rights to vote that had them taken away, it probably wouldn't even be any controversy.
Mm-hmm.
It would always probably be a landslide. Because
Rico,
one thing
Rico,
about it,
let me ask you a question, Rico.
with one side, go ahead.
Because you said something, and you spoke some truth for a second. It was stolen from Gore. Why do you think he didn't fight like Trump was fighting with Trump? It was not stolen from him, but it was stolen from Gore. Why do you think Trump, Gore did not fight for his position or rightful position?
Well, I really can't say. You know, I asked myself the same question when it happened because I thought they could have proved it. But I think, you know, somebody probably told him if he didn't want to be the next John F. Kennedy, he better back up. We already let Clinton get by, but now we got this plan for a new American century that's fixing to take place. And we got a plan in place to get down here to Iraq and get to Afghanistan. And we've been dealing and co-op and communicating with these Taliban for this pipeline, but we're really trying to get closer to this heroin because you see how many people we got hooked on Oxycontin now, while we got all the opportunity in the world to make billions and trillions of dollars off this opium if we could get our hands on it.
Wow.
So you might need to back on up because we've been planning this thing since my daddy left. So you don't see how we even made it even possible for his goofy son to get in office? Gore, you might need to back up. You see, we already was able to even make this happen. Talking about some Chads.
Wow.
I mean, you know. So like I said, the thing about it is, if we do look at it as business as usual and decide, well, why participate? It's a waste of time. Then you're wasting your time complaining from this point forward. But you have to understand that with one side, the 1% that create all these conditions are going to always win. With the other side, you might get a balanced budget again.
Yeah, that's good.
You might get a balanced budget again because history precedes itself. And they already had set the precedence by showing that it can happen. Even though Clinton messed us up with this child support thing and left us wide open, and they did the super predator thing and the crack law, they did that. But now if you're a political person and you want to just look at all aspects of government and politics, think about that surplus and that balanced budget that everybody claims is so important to the progress of this country, the economy. If it can happen once, it can happen again. But now they act like it can't happen, and they refuse to do the things or work with the people or use the process that where it can happen. Just like with universal health care, there's so many different ways that they've proven they could get these programs across, but somebody won't work with it because they don't want to pay their fair share. They just want to keep on profiting and making record gains.
Exactly. Let me go to Mr. Hicks. Mr. Hicks, let me ask you this question because Rico put something out there a second ago, and he said something, and I heard what he said, but I'm gonna ask you the question based on what he said. Is our government, because they talking with the whole opioid situation and how they push certain drugs in certain communities. Is our government a legal drug dealers?
I think the shadow government is those military things that do the dark operation. I think it's interesting. 9/11, the day before, they announced the $6 trillion, I think it was, dollar money that's dropped that you couldn't account for. But 9/11 happened right after that, and they never got really covered, not even now. So I guess I don't know. It's a futile conversation, man. I try to get with this into politics. It's just so touchy. It's like talking about religion. If we sat down and talk about what is the gospel and what's the foundation it's built on and what's the belief, there'd be a lot of confusion because there's confusion how the books was interpreted and how people commentated on for all these centuries. So you never get a clear argument. You just end up on a side. I think with me, I don't look at the side. I look at the direction where it's headed and what they say they're gonna do. And for me,
can you believe them?
Being a veteran,
can you believe them?
Sir.
Can you believe them when they say what they're gonna do? When they say what they're gonna do, can you believe them?
I believe half of it, a part of it, because the politics involved inside is still going to support the drugs for the dark trades, human smuggling. That's part of the underground economy. So the thing like we looked at, and even looking at the Kennedy assassination, there's so many other people wanted him, the criminals, neocons, and a whole bunch of things. But for me, I can't look at politics on either side and come out feeling sure about anything. I don't feel sure to any of them. I feel more voting against the left I guess to me, I see the left pushes toward Marxism and socialism, and I see it as a danger because historically it showed itself to be a danger. So you get people that want to change the meaning of words and groupthink and criticize and cancel you if you don't think the way they say or don't say the way the populace is going, the crowd, the herd. So yeah, this I mean,
It's a
from the
lot.
very origins of the country, it's always dealt with drugs.
Okay, Curtis, what do you?
Hey, Ray.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let me just chime in here real quick because Mr. Hicks makes some really good points, but I do have uh, have an adverse opinion because I think for years I think people have gotten Marxism and socialism mixed up with communism.
Mm-hmm.
And their Marxism and socialism is very much close to each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Communism is something totally different. When Karl Marx, and I believe the guy's name was Hildenberg or whatever, when they wrote the Communist Manifesto, Hitler did not. What a lot of people don't realize is Hitler did not. They took parts of the Communist Manifesto to create communism. They did not follow the Communist Manifesto according to the way that it was written. When you look at Marxism,
Hitler was the right way.
Hold on. Let me finish. When you look at Marxism is honestly based off of a system from the Nubian people. That's what it's all based on. That's what it's based from. It's based from a system that he studied coming out of Africa from the Nubian people, which said that, look, it is not appropriate for you to be a village or a community and see a family over here struggling because for whatever reason, maybe daddy died, sons died, typhoid came through, jaundice, yellow fever, whatever. It is not humanly appropriate to watch these people struggle when you have an abundance of resources. It is only fair that in our community, we share resources and responsibilities. Now, I get it. I get where Brother Hicks is saying, look, these things could possibly come in and not and destroy the fabric of our American society. Well, that's only the destruction of that fabric is only based on the fact that you destroy the haves, you separate the haves from the have-nots, and you take from the haves. So I don't know. I'm not saying that he's wrong in his, in the way he laid it out. I'm just saying that a lot of people really do not understand, nor have they really read or even grazed through Marxism and socialism. I'll land the plane here. The American military benefit system is based on socialism. That is universal health care. That is, do you know that when you go to the VA to be seen, do you know that you get paid for going to the hospital?
Yeah.
You get paid for going to the hospital. Right? The way that whole system is set up is on a socialist kind of platform. The reason it becomes not palatable is because when you base things on that, the haves cannot steal. See, if you say that if you tie the three together, in Marxism and socialism, there will never be a dictator. There will never be a dictator. It is equal government across the board.
Okay. Let me I know Mr. Hicks have something you want to say in response to, maybe not even in rebuttal, but in response to what you just said. Mr. Hicks, what's on your heart, brother?
Well, it's hard in a 3-minute period to talk about communism, Marxism, and the origins of it. I came out of prison as a Marxist. I mean, not just picking a name for the name. I believe in it.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in the have against the have-nots, and trying to get this utopia, taking care of everybody. There are good points to that. I think early Christians practiced a form of communalism. They brought all their food together. They ate in one person's house and they discussed the words. You bring food if you had. If you don't, you come and you eat anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But when you, I don't know how. I got a suggestion. If you haven't read the Gulag Archipelago, the rise and destruction of Russia, doing Stalin and those guys running their thing over there. If you look at that and see the roadmap of what led to all those leading peoples dying under their system of government, you can understand how the patterns are set now. I mean, the whole concept of canceling came from the Gulag Archipelago, but they didn't cancel you then. They just send you away to a camp somewhere to work, a gulag. So if your thoughts, in fact, inside the prison system, there were people got locked up. It was the people that was criminals that was put as in charge of the other inmates, because the basis that they were built on is that these people committed crimes because of the injustice of society, and they needed a shot. But the other people from the other political party, the politics that didn't agree with the politics of what they were saying, they are the bad guys. We got to kill them. And that's what it was. They went into the community and told them, say, look at the people down there, got all this food. They got more food than they need, and y'all ain't got nothing. So what they did was, it's like what you see happen now. All out of the West, people breaking in and crashing and stealing stuff. Same thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The hate against police and fighting the police. That was the Panthers Party thing. We monitored the police. We fought the police. They was the first line of defense of the the patriarch.
Mm-hmm.
But
so
I understand people being where they are, but I think the issues are so complicated that we really can't get a grasp on it. And when we do, we have a different perspective on things. It's hard to get together until you recognize that the whole system is corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's corrupt because of the people that we put in office. I agree with things you say, that you got to put people in there. You got to vote. If you have that right, you have the inclination. But in my estimation, a person making a decision not to vote is their right too. They don't have to vote.
Mm-hmm.
They just let this. Matter of fact, I think in the whole theology developed of Christianity, there's a period where a big debate was going on whether Christians should even vote or participate in the system. That's for a long time that existed.
Wow.
And the basic premise is that God put people in power.
Mm-hmm.
He put Pharaoh in power. So you go with his decision. But I'm not saying I go that way, but I understand the arguments have been going on for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good.
More
Rico.
complicated.
Mm-hmm. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
The minute I found out that they could take me to court and put me in jail, whether I was guilty or innocent, I realized that I couldn't avoid their system. I can only do it as much as I can. Mm-hmm. But somewhere I might have to participate. Imagine me laying down in the road and cars running me over, and I just keep on sitting there. Look at these cars that keep running over my foot, but I don't do nothing to move my foot.
Mm-hmm.
That's about how, you know what I'm saying, a person that's saying they don't want to vote, but complains about what happens in politics. I mean, think about it. You know, there's a pro and a con to everything. A pro and a con to everything that exists. And as we live this life, through all of these things that we experience, we have to maneuver and find out when to use the good and when to use the bad, and when to act. To do our part to make sure that the good is always done. Always. Yep. Even if that is as a group. If we vote somebody in and we see these people moving a little sideways, they do something a little shaky, we might have to go ahead and start acting up and get them out of office before their time is up. Put a little pressure on them as a group, as a community. So I'm with Curtis on what he was saying about that. I don't get too deep into the Marxist and socialism and communism thing because we over here under democracy, speaking on it the best way we learn from Western education. But from what I understood, it didn't start off the way that they done been teaching us. You know what I'm saying? And then I thought about it. I said, well, you know what? I know what Martin Luther King was. And they tried to say he was a communist. So if they trying to make communism seem negative, but he does so positive, maybe they don't flip this thing around and manipulated what it originally meant. And I started going back and researching. I found out the same thing Curtis found out. That root word, community. It ain't started off like the forefathers that came up with it. It didn't end up that way. Somebody else took it when they got power and made it do what they wanted to do. Maybe like the Bible. Maybe like so many other things that the original person came up with, but then man came along and gained power and decided, well, let's take these books out the Bible. They don't need to hear the book of Enoch. Let's just practice this part of it. See, that's what really happened with communism. And then somebody over here said, well, you know what? Let's take it and run with it now. We could use that in our favor. And then you know what? That nigga Martin Luther King Jr., he's a communist. Well, sign me up for it too. If that's what Martin Luther King Jr. was. Now, based off his actions, if that is what he truly is, that might not be a bad thing. What y'all trying to make me just fall for wordplay, double speaking propaganda?
But it was a false narrative.
So it's like,
but it was a false narrative.
You have to read in between the lines. Go ahead.
I know. I say, but it was a false narrative that he was a communist. There was a false narrative. That was just something they tried to feed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. But if this is the way you want me to receive it, then I'm gonna receive it logically. Because this is a great man. He's an honorable man. And if you think labeling him a communist is going to make me think he's negative, then based on what he's doing, communism might not be bad. Because from what I done seen, y'all have knocked y'all on president off and y'all have dropped atomic bombs on people and don't care nothing about innocent lives or collateral damage. It's just a part of the game. War is business as usual.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you know, like you asked the question earlier, should we believe him? No. And that's the reason why government and politics should be our business as usual. Because they could make laws that lock us up unfairly, like crack laws.
Absolutely.
You did what I'm saying. See, I can't sit back and say, well, you know what? Not only do I not believe in voting, but I don't believe in your court or your prison system. Let me out of here right now. See how long you sat down.
Ain't gonna happen, brother. Ain't gonna happen.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Curtis.
You know, Raheem, Rico just said something that just brought something to my attention. In the 244 years that this country has been established, the one organization that is deemed a real domestic terrorist organization has held seats in government at the highest levels of government. And that is the Klan, right? Now, here's the oxymoron, or here is the hypocrisy in all of this. They tried to control the narrative and label folks as communists, right? As if communism, or controlling the narrative that communism was bad, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so now some of the most powerful actors, directors, writers, anybody that spoke against the government were blacklisted and labeled as communists. MLK, Paul Robeson, Dorothy Dandridge, all of these powerful ground level leaders were labeled as communists. And they told us that communism is bad. While all at the same time, allowing for such entities like the Klan, who stand under a communist, if you want to call it for what they display to us, it being, who stand under a banner and a flag and an ideology that truly represents the communism for what you're talking about is communism. Right? Like, who's the leader of communism? It was Adolf Hitler, right?
It's supposed to be Adolf Hitler, yeah.
Adolf Hitler is the face of communism. Adolf Hitler, Lenin, and the other dude. Right?
So hold on, before you go too far. So communism and Nazism is the same thing? I thought they were different.
No, they're different.
Nazism, they are different, but the Nazis use communism. They use the Communist Manifesto as a layout.
Yeah, I think we have some pushback on that, Curtis. Stay right there, brother. Don't go nowhere.
I'm asking only because if I remember it correctly, the Communist Manifesto was written out of Germany.
Mr. Hicks wanted to say something. Mr. Hicks, what's on your heart about what was just said? I think there's a little pushback you got there.
I think that's part of the confusion come in a lack of knowledge, just surface knowledge, not an in-depth study. You know, in communism, and before it's something that belief in this system of thought and application, it requires you to come to the point to pick up arms. That's the ultimate goal, is a final conflict to take over and reestablish a new way of doing things. Italy under Mussolini he started the fascist, the fascists, and it was basically coming from a Roman concept of a bunch of sticks tied together in a unity. And it's basically saying in fascism that the government owns all the means of production, distribution, all that, and that the individual is not important, but more the group is more important than the individual. That's why they can censor people when they don't agree with the talking points. And I think when it gets down to a thing like that now, we see a different thing. I look at the thing of Tulsi Gabbard. She came out from the Democratic Party, and I think when you listen to what she's saying, she's putting it right there. She's military. She's serving these conflicts. These wars are produced and orchestrated by the bankers. All the wars, from the Civil War all the way down, coming from the Jessups and coming from Darwin's theory of evolution. That's the very foundation of the white supremacy, which is a whole category of economics different from communism and socialism. You know, they believe they want to send slavery all the way down to South America, over the world. They wanted to be a world institution as it was, sanctioned. But the push against that was a push, I believe, of what you call a divine. It was God influencing things. But, you know, I don't think anybody on here is really advocating for communism. I hope not. I mean,
so what is the major difference? What is the major difference, Mr. Hicks, between communism and Marxism?
Communism and Nazism. The Nazis had a cult basis to their whole belief. The sphere of destiny. Hitler had his people going all over people in the Arctic, where they established a base there that's still operating now. Admiral Till, who took an Operation High Jump, took a fleet, the largest fleet we ever took to anywhere, went up there to try to destroy these places that the Germans had completed a whole underground operation. And they went and this is document, and they counted UFOs, what you would call UFOs, that destroyed them and made them run back. But the difference in communism, socialism, and coming down to, I guess, capitalism, is that capitalism believes in the individual, the freedom of the individual to make choices for himself, based off his own desires and motivation.
Mm-hmm.
I think a thing that Jesus said, he said, the poor will be with us always. When I was little, I didn't hear that. I couldn't understand it because we were poor.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, was he poor always? And it said, him who have more will be given, but him who don't have, what he has is going to be taken away. I see that as a spiritual concept, something that's spiritual. I think as long as we talk about this thing in the temporal government, we'll always have clashes.
Mm-hmm.
But the very essence of what's going to sort things out is the spiritual foundation. God gave people certain rights. You know, it came from when you were born.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't given to you by anybody. It's not a privilege. It's a right that you have. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good deal. Rico?
That's freedom of speech. Mm-hmm.
Rico?
Well, from what I always understood, Nazism and communism were opposites. If I ain't mistaken, I think Hitler took out a communist, and if I ain't mistaken, Russia, who was communist, helped us take out Germany. Hitler, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Communism was mighty convenient then too, wasn't it?
Wow.
For America.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Nazism and communism was different. See, Nazism, I think the biggest thing most people overlook, you start thinking about why the Jews complain, Nazism was based on believing that one race could dominate. But I don't think communism ever talks about one dominant race.
Mm-hmm.
So now when you start talking about American capitalism, you start thinking about the neocons and neo-Nazis and Prescott Bush and how Standard Oil financed Germany and the bankers helped them with this Standard Oil and this and that. They helped them, help Nazism succeed in the Holocaust. And they even helped them fight against America.
Mm-hmm.
And they were proven in a congressional court, if I'm mistaken, that they did, and that man didn't even go to prison for it. They faced war crimes or nothing, another traitor. Instead, his son and his grandson ascended to the top position in the country, pretty much in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, his son actually took over the CIA and started coming up with plans called Operation Northwood to try to bomb airplanes in a building in Florida, in Miami, and blame it on Cuba. Oh, he's a nasty guy.
Mm-hmm.
They say he was even affiliated with the JFK assassination.
Wow.
Him and Henry Kissinger.
Mm-hmm.
The other man that killed about 2 million Cambodians. They talk about communism. You see, but they don't talk about Nazism.
Yeah.
Right. Matter of fact, our biggest problem over here is class and racism.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, they don't like to address issues when it comes to race, just like somebody else. Yeah, the neo-Nazis. See, these are people, when we start talking about shadow government, bing, there you go.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow.
They all up in the banks and everything, you know what I'm saying? But then they work with some people that really and truly they shouldn't be working with.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're working hand in hand with these certain Jews now. Oh, they said Hitler was a Jew. You ever read about his granddaddy being a Frankish Jew?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Ain't that something? So how wicked and corrupt and how sinister can that plan be? I know he was a Jew, you know what I'm saying, and his granddaddy was the one that fed him this ideology. Because man, it get deep.
Mm-hmm.
It get deep, you know. But see, that's how wicked the system is.
Yes, it is.
But once again, once you realize you exist in this system and you have to abide by it, you have to do like certain groups of people do. Use it and manipulate it for your best interest at every turn possible and make that your business as usual. The reason why the black community is in the situation it's in because we don't make that our business as usual.
Mm-hmm.
We find reason not to take that 20 minutes out of our day and just go do something that simple because we act like if we do it, it's going to take a year off our life.
Yep.
Even if it was a waste of time, how much more time we waste?
Mm-hmm. Doing all kind of other things. Absolutely. A
whole bunch of nothing.
Yep.
You can take 20 minutes out the day. We take 20 minutes out of our day to sit on the toilet and be done and still just sitting there on the phone scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody left and went and voted and came back.
Mm-hmm.
And they ain't get struck by lightning.
Wow.
So, you know, when we talk about wasting time, you know what I'm saying? I still think about the fact that these same court systems that have kept me from being in my son's life.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta vote.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Have no choice. Have no choice. Kurt, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, I'm hinging on that. Saying controlling the narrative of the same system that you want me to hate is the same system that you prop up on the back end. I'm thinking about the fact that the whole while that we've been taught that this was the bad system. I'm not saying that I would want to live under that system, but I'm just saying when I look at everything that's laid out, the same system that I've been taught was a bad system was the same system that you was propping up in the
Mm-hmm.
back when you was allowing for all of these so-called German POWs to live and remain here in America. So if you wanted to root out the ideology, then after the war was over, you should have sent all of them home.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
But I think that ties into something that Brother Hicks and Rico was saying, which is the racism quality. It's like I had a talk with a guy that was supposed to be a neo-Nazi some years ago. And I asked him one question. I said, dude, I need you to explain to me how it is that you could tie yourself into an organization that believes that you are less than them. And he was like, well,
Mm-hmm.
what do you mean? What do you mean? No, it's about white power. I said, no. If you listen to what Adolf Hitler said the dominant race is blonde hair and blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But yet he didn't have blonde hair and he didn't have blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have blonde hair and blue eyes. So I need you to tie that in. What is it that makes this ideology so prevalent for you and so believable? Because the ideology itself says that you're less than them.
Mm-hmm. Come on. Tell it. Tell it.
He got stuck.
Mm-hmm.
He got stuck. He couldn't say that he was. I said, man, ain't no need in stuttering. I just need you. Look, I ain't beefing with you. If that's what you believe, that's what you believe. But you're telling me that you're willing to believe that another man is greater than you.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't get it, man. Like this morning when I was getting dressed, Joyce Vance did a special on Morning Joe. If you can, Raheem, at some point today, you might want to just bring it up and check it out. She did a study. You know how they do those town hall studies where they talk to voters and this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
And she talked to a bunch of Pennsylvania voters, black and white. It was crazy to me that it was all black in one panel and all white in the other panel. I didn't get the chance to finish watching it to see if they brought both panels together. But these white folk had all voted for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
They all was Trump supporters. And when she was asking them simple questions about what happened, brother, if you could have heard the excuses and the things that these people were saying, and you watched, I want you to watch it so you can watch the body language.
Okay.
The body language specifically said, I know I'm lying. I know that this is a wrong way for me to think.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, my race is in peril. If you heard what they were saying, brother, they were saying things like the only person that died as a result of January 6th was that military veteran, that lady that got shot. When we know,
what's going on, Eric?
When we know that 4 officers died, there was no police brutality. It wasn't no different. These are the things that people are saying as Americans, and if we're gonna stand on that, man, we might as well just follow the turn up right now and let Russia come on in and take over.
Wow.
If we can't inconvenient truth, Raheem, that is a shame. I mean, they were saying things like, it was a peaceful protest, that Trump had nothing to do with it, that he didn't call for that, that I mean, all kinds of things. I mean, if
Mm-hmm.
you'd have heard that, but
Is
you
that
could
is that
read the
something? Is that
body
something,
language.
Curtis?
The body.
Is that something you could send to me, Curtis?
Well, it just aired this morning,
Okay, okay.
so it
I'll look it up.
probably won't be up on YouTube until the evening.
Okay, I'll look it up. I'll definitely look it up.
But it was on Morning Joe this morning, man, and
Mm-hmm.
it was sad, bro. It was literally sad. Like it goes back to I asked a question one time on this show. When did the day come where it became? When did the day come when man decided that he can't be wrong?
Mm. Mm.
Because every great lesson that I ever learned in my life, I learned it because I did something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. I'm gonna tell you something, man. It might sound crazy, but I learned a lot more from my failures than I did my successes. It might sound crazy, but that's where I learned the most from. When I did not get it right, and I had to go back in there and redo it all over again, start all over again. My grandma used to tell me all the time, did you do that? Yeah. Did you do it right? No. No, I don't think so. Well, at first I said, yeah, I think so. And she explained to me why I did not do it right and tell me, go back in there and do it again. Go back in there and do it again. Now I'm spending more time. I'm like Rico said, I'm wasting time. I'm wasting time now. Had I just done it right the first time. 508-924-3521. 50 excuse me. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We love to have your input. Good morning, Eric. How you doing, brother? I see you over there. Mr. Hicks, talk to me.
I'm just listening now, just trying to figure out to say something that makes sense.
Let me ask you a question. Let me I'm gonna switch it up for you just a second. I want to hear your heart on this. I'm gonna pose the same question to each and every one of you. Emmitt Till, he just got a statue in Greenwood, Mississippi, October the 21st. They gave a statue of Emmitt Till, Greenwood, Mississippi. Mr. Hicks, what do you think about that?
Mhm.
What is your heart on that?
Well, I think it's good to document something as grotesque as it was. I mean, it was something that had been going on, and had
Mm-hmm.
been going on for years, but it never was exposed like it was. The courage of his mother, and
Mm-hmm.
that's really what that was. I think that it's good to have those things because it's the center of discussions for the generation that comes after.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same way I believe that all the other statutes that point out these different points in history are a means for, when the country takes up the fences, when they came to this country, destroy the Native Americans, they had to destroy the culture.
Mm-hmm.
They had to get rid of everything they believed in, erase it, bury it, and call you civilized when you adapted language, and the consequence when you're not, you were still savage, and under papal policies that you
Mm-hmm.
were still subject to slavery and death.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the history shows me two things. One thing is that human nature is always the same. Is that a person that's powerless, and when they get in power, it takes a while for him to adjust his head with that, and the
Mm-hmm.
system is pulling inside of that to be. When I worked with Department of Corrections, a pro, the first thing I learned is that everything was clicks.
Yes.
People
Yes.
had clicks. They clicked with people that thought the same kind of ways, and they would talk about things among themselves. They wouldn't talk about others, and they were all part of the same party, this Democratic Party, because
Mm-hmm.
they started pulling inmates out of prison, putting them in these cities that was falling down, like Camden, New Jersey. It had a high crime rate and abandonment, and in fact, it's the only city state now that's ruled by the federal government. They don't have a police department or mayor. It's all ran out of Washington because it's so corrupted. I
Mm-hmm.
think that when the Democrats were doing this with the same basic kind of philosophy that we were criminals because of the system,
Mm-hmm.
because we were spirited young people and we saw the delusion around us, no option to do anything, so we turned to crime, and we
Mm-hmm.
deserved a second chance.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was a pendulum swinging that way. Then it swung again hard to to the to Clinton and them and Biden and locking up everybody and sending away and washing their hands of it after the fact. But
Mm-hmm.
but it's not having been a thing where it's just purely to say like he's a Republican or it's a Democrat. It
Mm-hmm.
seems like they switch hats. They play how the game when they had somebody have a shell and they move it around to figure out which one the bead is
Oh,
under.
come on, musical
They keep
chairs.
us figuring out.
Come on, musical
Yeah,
chairs.
the
Mm-hmm.
musical chairs. Yeah, musical
Mm-hmm.
chairs or that little the game they split the subway. You put your dollar down and pick which card is. So it's like they got this thing going on among us, would always keep us sort of confused. And the issue, it's like it's like on one side they have an issue, they have a point, a policy that you agree with, but then they got something you don't like. The other side got something you like. It's like almost like they set it up this way
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
make us
Wow.
think, actually to make us to think our vote that our vote counts. But
Mm-hmm.
the end result is already started in the dark rooms. They know who's going to win, and even if the person come close, they'll figure out some kind of way, like you said with Al Gore, that whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
You
Okay.
know, you know, that's a
It's a lot, huh? It's a lot. It's a lot, brother. It's a lot.
it
Mm-hmm.
is. Yeah, you got to take that. You got to take yourself higher. You got to get into spirituality. You got to look at it from how you think the Creator's looking at this thing, how God is sorting this out.
Mm-hmm.
But and not get too emotionally attached to any ideology or any particular side because that's when you're led astray. You got to keep your eyes on. I'm gonna base these things on what did the word say.
Mm-hmm.
How,
Exactly.
and I can't figure out what's going around. Let's see how the word handled it in history. In those stories we got in the Bible, what was the situation similar to this? And
Mm-hmm.
then in that situation, what was the believers called to do in that
Exactly.
time of
Exactly.
upheaval?
There's a call to order, brother. There's always been a call to order. But will we answer? Will we answer? Let me go to Badger. Badger, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I hope
Badger.
everyone's having a blessed day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're talking about Emmitt Till. He has a statue placed in Greenwood, Mississippi on October the 21st, 2022. What do you think about that? They put a statue in this young man's honor.
Oh man, that's pretty cool actually.
Mm-hmm.
Um, wow, that's some news to wake up to this morning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Absolutely.
that's man, dude. Wow. Um, and it's actually going to have like the history and everything associated with it.
No. Well, from what I'm seeing right now, there's a statue that's placed there, and there's a plaque in front of it. I can't see what's on the actual plaque, but I would love to be able to read that. But go ahead, brother.
Oh, okay, yeah, they actually put the history on it. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal.
Um, man, that that is such a huge step forward.
Mm-hmm.
um, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking. I was trying to think of. I don't know the history of Greenwood, Mississippi. I don't know the history of that particular place. Maybe some people that live. Rico, you live in the area. I don't know if you live in Greenwood, but what do you know about Greenwood, Mississippi?
Yeah, I'm not in Mississippi. Donald might live in that area. I'm in Alabama, man.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, I
Yeah,
keep getting y'all
no,
too mixed up.
that
Yeah, yeah.
no. Uh, from the little bit I know about Mississippi, there was some. It was pretty rough.
Mm-hmm.
Just from the
Yeah, to
little
say
bit
the
I
least.
was, yeah, just from the little bit that I was aware of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So to but see that's the thing. Like Paul brought up something one time when he came up on the show about, certain perspectives and things like that. There there's a lot of people out here that are pushing for change
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to be aware of something like that and for them to have done a statue for it. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think it's. I hope nobody takes this wrong because I don't know if I'm going to word it the way I want it to be worded. However, it ain't no reparations,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
if that
Let me
makes
go.
sense.
It does. It makes sense. Absolutely. Let me go to Captain. Captain, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm doing fine. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Asking a question, we're talking about Emmitt Till. There's a statue that was erected of Emmitt Till in Greenwood, Mississippi on October the 21st, 2022. What is on your heart behind that statue and what it represents and the mindset behind it all?
Well, I didn't know that's news for me, but that's absolutely great. I think that's absolutely great. I think it's long overdue. I think, Emmett Till was the epitome of what happened to him that really launched really what we would call the civil rights movement.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the beginning of the civil rights movement. There's no question that the horrible way that this young man was brutally tortured and lynched is a sign. But until you can erect a statue, but is justice going to be
Mm. Mm.
what happened? The woman that lied, will she be brought to justice? I understand she's still alive, but they're not bringing her to justice.
Exactly.
A woman, no matter if they would chase a Holocaust um, uh, tormentor or one who have committed war crimes, the Jewish people would chase them until they in their hundreds, until they in their 90s, and bring them to justice. Don't give a doggone how or how many years went by of that kind of injustice.
Mm-hmm.
The fact of it is, you would have to pay for the Jews that have committed the most horrible crimes to the Jewish people, the Holocaust. And no matter where they at, and how old they are, and how they try a decent life, they brought them to justice 89 years old, 90 old. Well, how come there's a problem in bringing that woman to justice no matter how old she is? It makes no difference. She
Mm-hmm.
lied.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Horrible
Mm-hmm.
thing, she lied. So
Mm-hmm.
I would believe the statute's fine. That ain't give Emmitt Till no justice.
Yeah, exactly.
Here with Baxter, reparation. And reparation on the reparation given to the family for the state of Mississippi is a statue. No, man.
Mm-hmm.
That woman who lied, I don't care how old she is, she need to be brought to justice.
Absolutely.
That's what's on my heart.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Lying.
That's good. That's good. And I agree with you. I agree with you. Something have to happen because she's lived her whole life. This young man died at, if I'm not mistaken, 15 years old. She lived her whole life. Now she's at 80 something years old right now, and still no justice. And she came out and told and said that she lied. She came out and said that she lied, that she fabricated the truth, but still nothing happened. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother?
You talking to me, Ryan?
Yes, sir.
Um, well, the statue is a start, but the statue does not complete the process.
Mm-hmm.
Statue is a good start. The simple fact is the lady should be arrested. No
Mm-hmm.
ifs, ands, buts about that. She should be in prison. Um, that is not even a debate. You know what I mean? Like, if that was anybody else, we would have probably been courted, and you know what I mean? Um, the the fact that this young man's mother had to endure what she had to endure just so that America would admit that this whole racism thing
Mm-hmm.
is a cancer that's eating away at the fabric of our society
Yes, it is.
is a travesty.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a continuous reminder of no matter how successful you become
Mm-hmm.
at any given minute, that success, that very same success, can be taken away
Yeah,
at the
absolutely.
drop of a dime.
Absolutely.
Um, I don't know what else to say about that outside of the fact that this shouldn't have never. Come on,
Yeah, exactly.
we
Exactly.
come on. It's 2022. We should not still be discussing the foolishness of white America not feeling comfortable with idea of no longer being an overseer,
Mm-hmm.
because that's really what we're talking about. I mean, they done bought into this whole thing with the racism and that they're the dominant species. Let's just keep it real. But the truth be told, actually, let me ask you a question. According to the foundation of this country and the progress that has been made, both technologically, um, ID, you know, how much input has that, and we evaluate them from the advancements
Mm-hmm.
of thereof.
Mm-hmm.
How much input has these groups actually? How much influence has these groups actually had in the progress of America?
Which group are we referring
I've,
to?
al- I've always, if you, I guess what I'm asking is, if you take all of the groups and break them down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Blacks, whites, Latinos, uh, 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 Asians, so forth and so on. How much of the progress that has been made in this country is each group responsible for? I guess that's the word I'm trying to.
Mm.
I guess that's the way I'm trying to word
Okay. That's a heck of a question, brother. That's a heck of a question.
it. Cause I'm curious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know that and I don't know, to answer your question, brother. I don't know. That's something I have to kind of delve into a little bit to get to answer. But I will go back to the Emmitt Till situation and say on August the 28th, 1955 is when he died, which equates 68 years ago. And now in 2022 is when he get a statue erected in Greenwood, Mississippi. That's 67 years alone. That's a lifetime. That's more than a lifetime for a lot of people. Rico, why do you think it took so long?
Oh man. Do we actually gonna ask questions that got obvious answers to them?
For the listeners, brother, we talking to the listeners. Let's talk to them. Yes.
Well, we know why.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here,
Come on.
man. I don't know. It's hard for me to even simplify my mind to the point of where I even have to even say, well, because he was black. But let's
Mm-hmm.
just go back to, well, it sort of goes back to what you was talking about earlier. We started out talking about Nazism and communism, and I'm glad we got that established, because I think some people really did think those two things were the same, and they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
Completely different. And that master race thing, that Aryan race thing, dominance
Mm-hmm.
and narrative. Can you imagine somebody saying they are dominant
Mm.
with blonde hair and blue eyes that are the most recessive genes on the planet?
Come on.
But somehow they want to make you feel like they're dominant, and so they acted on it
Mm-hmm.
with privilege and entitlement. They felt like that made them entitled and privileged to where people could do stuff and get away with it, like just kill a bunch of Jews. But guess what? They killed some black people too in the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the story. Once again, a part of the narrative that's never spoken about, because we let them dictate the narrative. So now here it is. They put them up with statues. Oh, they made Juneteenth a holiday. Oh, they made Tupac a statue. Oh, they made Martin Luther King a statue. Look at this landmark, symbols. Yeah, that's mighty kind and symbolic. You honor him with a statue, but let me thank Captain Dennis, because he stole the words right out of my mouth. That still ain't getting no justice.
Mm-hmm.
That woman's still living.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they'll go and get these Nazi war criminals and lock them up. They be 90 years old. They go lock them up, and she's still free.
Mm-hmm.
And then they found a warrant in the basement that somebody just happened to stick to the side. Well, we're not gonna lock her up for being an accessory to this boy's murder, even though she instigated it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a double standard. That's what America goes on. But see, we some people will look at this and be like, well, that's an honorable thing. Rico always talking negative. They doing something good, and you talking bad on it. Well, okay, yeah, great. They are honoring him. And guess what? Just like they do all the signs down there by the store where he got killed at, they're going to shoot it up.
Mm-hmm.
Some people can't wait to vandalize it and deface it.
Mm-hmm.
Just something else for them to do. Why he still didn't get justice. And she's still living and out here free. But that's what happens. You know what I'm saying? That's white supremacy. That's the neo-Nazis. That's the thing we just got away from. See, really and truly, that plays a part in this too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That white supremacy.
Yes, sir.
Entitlement.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Now, let's ask ourselves, why did that happen to Emmitt Till like that? And why is it that the Jews can still get justice to this day, but a lot of black people don't get justice? Not only from what happened in the past, but right now, people being incarcerated for crime they didn't commit based
Mm-hmm.
off of race.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't get compensated, or some get small compensation after 45 years and 30 years and stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
This system that shows a favor and a bias, and that perception and that narrative of blonde hair and blue eyes being dominant. But guess what the truth is? But now, and you know what, when I was in school and I found that out, man, after hearing about all this Aryan nation and white supremacy stuff, and then I got into biology and they said, blonde hair is recessive and blue eyes are recessive. I started asking the question, you mean to tell me that this means that if you mix this with nappy hair or coarse hair or black skin, yes, and yes. I'm like, well, wait a minute, where Hitler get this mess from?
Mm-hmm.
He flipped the narrative.
Yep, exactly.
And tried to make the world believe something that science already told you wasn't true.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to force y'all to believe it with a military. See, that's where these militaries come in at. Same thing right now. You know, we was talking about the going to other countries and doing what we're doing to them, man. The military work on behalf of these drug dealing pharmaceutical companies and these corporations that like to steal resources,
Mm-hmm.
to kill leaders, you know.
Exactly.
That's why Emmitt Till just got a statue and didn't get no justice,
Mm-hmm.
because of that white supremacy system that we refuse to use our vote. Everybody else using now, the Japanese. You don't hear Asians or Latinos saying, man, your vote don't count.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all wasting y'all time. You just hear us and poor white people saying that. And we the ones suffering the most. Even the LGBTQ voting. You don't hear them saying that. And guess what? They passing us too.
Exactly. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. 508-924-3521. Phone lines are open. Annette, good morning. How you doing, young lady?
Oh, perfect, brother. Perfect.
Good deal. Good deal. We're talking about Emmitt Till. He had a statue placed in Greenwood, Mississippi on October the 21st. Actually, that looked like it was Friday, 2022. What do you think about him having a statue erected in his honor? What does that say to you? What do you think the whole motivation is?
You know what? It doesn't really matter the motivation.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we have a epistle that
Mm-hmm.
we can see,
Mm-hmm.
I think is a step in the right direction.
Okay.
And the only reason I say it's a step in the right direction because it's a reminder.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we need to be reminded of the debauchery that we're creating.
Mm-hmm.
When people lie, it's crazy. And I can't say it's America. I say it's the people in America who refuse to consider that Black America is a superior race too. Okay? So
Mm.
it's so important that we look at um, how the personalities of people are willing to tear down somebody who's great. It's crazy. Blacks and whites can live together. I grew
Mm-hmm.
up in Los Angeles, California. And then I went to the South to go to school. I had no idea, even though I heard about it in my civics, but until I stepped in to the South and really understood it, the bottom line, there's a book called The South Within the South. So I'm happy that they put a statute up. Will that take the place of Emmett Till's life being taken? No, it won't be. But however, when we look at Black America, civil rights, um, that movement, the movement has really died, right? It's not what it used to be. And sometimes we have to write our own way. It's sad that people can lie and Black brothers like Emmett Till get lynched. And we don't, I don't, I really don't see it as white supremacy, to be honest. I don't want to coin it that. What I want to coin it is, what do we do to stop it? See, a lot of people are scared and fearful to do anything about it.
Mm. Wow. Wow. Annette, you there? Did we lose you?
Yeah, yes, I'm here.
Okay, good deal. I thought we had lost you there. Badger, what's on your heart?
Man, dude, it's just one of the many examples, unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
of some people getting away with things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to be quite honest, I'm kind of looking at why don't we hold the people that were in the judge that was in that courtroom responsible?
Mm-hmm.
There was enough evidence,
Right.
so it's just unfortunately the supposed grand jury is the reason it came to an end.
But what do you think should have happened? Because a couple of years ago went by, just a few years ago, actually. Let me say it that way. That the young lady came out and she said that she lied. Now she's of a certain age now, but when she came forth and said that she lied, now this young man is dead. Should something have happened to her at that point?
Well, the FBI started investigating in around 2004. They never
Mm-hmm.
really investigated before that
Mm-hmm.
when they should have. and that's kind of when things started to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And the other part that's really messed up is the the males, Roy Bryant and J.W. Millum, um, selectively retelling in Look magazine and admitted to it as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a year later, and that should show all by itself how bad it was.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that with them admitting that they did it, I was actually trying to find if they actually if the case was actually put out to the public,
It should be.
um, which I'd have to find it. Um, it's sad. Um, how for somebody to admit that they did it to be just let go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Yet also from some of the evidence that's come out, she was also threatened not to say anything too.
Mm. Mm.
So yeah,
Wow.
um, and that's the other flip side to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's there is so much involved, especially at during that time of what she could have done and what did she choose not to do,
Mm-hmm.
because it was her husband that also did it as well at that time. So she was living with the man that helped do it.
They have killed him.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
so there is no doubt that she was living in fear constantly to ever even speak out.
The way I see it, everybody involved should have been incarcerated. Whether she was in
I
fear, or
agree.
whether, all of them should have been incarcerated. I don't give a pass to either one of them because you have a 15-year-old young man, your 15-year-old child, if you will. He's still a young man, that was killed and murdered
I 100%
for
agree.
nothing. Mm-hmm. For
I
nothing. Yeah. Good deal.
mm,
Captain, what's on your heart, sir? Appreciate you, Badger.
Well, you know, they just did a story just recently. I think it was there in Virginia. I think there was 7 men that was accused. Um, it's going to collect some money in the black neighborhood, a white woman. She started off with 3, assaulted her, it went to 4, it wound up to 7. Then there was one adult, and all of them within 3 days to a week was tried, convicted, and executed.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Now the governor wants to exonerate them. They're dead and they're gone.
Yeah.
These
Mm.
men all the way till they were in the electric chair. One screamed and said, God knows I'm innocent, and you'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these are stories. There was a young boy, 14 years old, was the first young kid, I think he was 14, maybe younger, who was executed.
Mm-hmm.
We got so many stories. So Emmitt Till, now, those men that was exonerated or did not get convicted for the brutal killing of our young brother, they left families. You can trace their names back. Then why don't some reparation be brought to the families?
Mm-hmm.
I know what they're going to say, but we didn't have nothing to do with it. But an example has to be made.
Yes.
I was looking at a documentary of the Nuremberg trials. There was a female guard who was, I forgot what they called her, they had a name for her. she was so brutal. And she left, and of course, like all of them, tried to blend into society years later. And the Jews found her. She was 80-something years old and brought her to trial.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone they brought to trial, they killed them. They hung them. So it ain't had nothing to do because she's a female.
Yeah.
But we have to get to the point where people have to be made an example that, okay, but if your family member did it, then we would charge the estate to be able to give reparations to Emmitt Till's family, whose mother, she's gone now. But if they took some land, a whole beach, from some blacks 100 years ago, 80-something years ago, and finally they realized that the beach was taken from these black people, all these years, they returned the beach reparation to the people. So sometimes, yes, justice do come some way down the road. And I like what everybody said at the beginning. Yeah, the statue's good. We appreciate the statue. But that young man is crying out for the grave.
Yes.
It's going to take another 100 years to get that man justice.
Yeah.
We should not be satisfied.
Come on.
She brought to court, and the families that had something to do with that young man's death, they pay a price. And what it sends out is, I don't care, the daggone perpetrator do never get away. Whether you escape it in this world, your family will pay the price for the wrong that you have done.
Wow.
That's my attitude.
Good deal. We got Joseph and we got Peter. I'm gonna go to Joseph first, and Brother Peter, I'm coming to you next. Joseph, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning, family. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good. About Emmitt Till. We're talking about Emmitt Till, man. He had a statue that was Friday past October the 21st. They put a statue up in Greenwood, Mississippi, in his honor. What's on your heart? What does that say to your heart, brother? The whole situation concerning the whole group of gumbos. What does it say to you?
Well, I'm glad that was a gesture was made after all these years, a gesture. But we have a Republican governor down there who's blocking millions of dollars, federal dollars, from going to Jackson, Mississippi to improve the water system there. And the governor of the state of Mississippi has the power to improve the water system. But because it's 82% black, it's obvious why he and that Republican-led government is not moving. So I think the whole state of Mississippi should pay reparation to black folks in the state of Mississippi for the Peach Bowl, for all of the crimes committed against black folks in the state of Mississippi. But Mississippi is not alone. Arkansas, Louisiana, Georgia, all of them should do the same thing. In fact, I think we should start a mass movement for reparation, starting in the South.
Yes.
You see, because obviously we more emphasis and more value is placed on white lives than black lives. Consider this. We're bombarded with images from Ukraine daily. We spent billions of dollars in military aid to help them fight against the Russians. Next door over in Haiti, where our policy, racist policies, since this country became a nation, and since Haiti became a nation, the policies toward Haiti has been racist. I mean, blatantly racist. They send in the Marines and take over and set up dictators in Haiti and don't allow the people to choose a leader of their choice because they cannot afford to allow that first black republic to flourish. If it does, it would inspire black people throughout the diaspora. They know this. Now, the sad part about it is, though, we've been educated to look at Haiti through the lenses of white supremacy.
Wow.
So black Americans, the Congressional Black Caucus, and other leaders, they're not forceful enough to attack these racist policies. So that shows what miseducation can do to a people too. As Carter G. Woodson said, in the book, The Miseducation of the Negro.
Mm-hmm.
And as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad reminded us over and over again, and as the Nation of Islam, praise be to God, keep reminding us of just how bad we've been miseducated.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad to hear this topic, man. I'm glad to hear this discussion, because we got a long ways to go to come into our own self-awareness and our own political matureness, social and economic maturity, so that we can do for ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
because this Emmitt Till situation, the movie and everything, is raising our awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody said back before slavery ended, as if it ended, somebody said that if you give the Negro his freedom, you would have to put a gun to his head to make him keep it.
Wow.
Look at how they've turned back all the civil rights gains of the civil rights movement. They gutted the Civil Rights Act. They're working on the Voting Rights Act. They're working on the Civil Rights Act too. Every major policy that came out of the civil rights movement have almost been overturned and reversed. And we have not mounted the kind of offensive that we need to mount. We got to assert ourselves in such a way that the whole nation know that we're not accepting that. We're not playing these games. We're gonna do the same thing that our parents did in the civil rights movement, and act up and protest. We're gonna do the same thing again.
Yeah.
And we must say that, and we must be about that business.
Exactly.
But that's how I'm thinking about it.
508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. The phone lines are open. Let me go to Pete, then we'll go to Leonard. Pete, what's on your heart? Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
How you doing this morning, sir? DKM radio panelist and audience, Facebook Morning Glow, DKM.
Yes, sir.
Radio.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. We're talking about Emmitt Till. Now, Friday they erected a statue in his honor. Pete, what does that say to you, man? Where's your heart on this whole situation?
Well,
down in in Greenwood, Mississippi.
Yeah, whenever honor is properly due and honor is given, I will give you an acknowledgement and gratitude for acknowledging where acknowledgement is due. But you give me a statue for a young man that was lied on and killed, and the perpetrator who started the initial lie still alive and has admitted that they lied and they have failed to face prosecution, then it is the duty of the everyday ones in this society to go apprehend that individual, physically take possession of their person, assemble a council that are astute in law, or try the lady due to the facts of the matter, and whatever the sentence is rendered, and it don't matter who stands in the way. The United States as a government, the Supreme Court as a make-believe court of a situation of judiciary, any state, civil, whatever, any of y'all. That lady should be held accountable right now, today. And whatever this decision is of the individuals who have formed as a jury to adjudicate and judge her, whatever their conclusion is to be implemented immediately, and that's all. The time of us tolerating all the nonsense, this egregious mess, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, you want to come back. The young man, one of the brothers was talking about, who was the youngest executed. They wanted to, excuse him and clear his name. What was that, like 50, 60 years ago? And now you want to come clear his name? Look, time out for that. Time out for that. I mean, it's a nice gesture, right? But slapping the taste out your mouth is a better gesture for the offense and the harm that has been done and continues to have vestiges today. And are we some idiots for not understanding how we have to hold violence in resolve? It's not about, we always want to kill somebody. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is only so much that we should take from anything that don't make sense. Stop trying to make sense out of stuff that don't make sense. Just respond to it sensibly. Like you can't slap somebody upside their head. You can. And you should. We should. We shall. It needs to start right now. Time out for the nonsense. and certainly along the lines of race and racial injustice. We should have had it with that. Period. Jew, Gentile, Christian, Muslim, gay, straight, educated, ignorant, light-skinned, dark-skinned. I'm talking about period. If you're coming at us with some nonsense along the lines of race, it should be intolerable at this point from us, from all the experiences, the vestiges, the whatever, the woo. Not everybody don't hate everybody. No, I get all of that. If you're coming with that nonsense, why? Did not Harry Belafonte tell us burn this bad fella down?
Exactly.
Did he not say it ain't nothing left to do but to set this bad fella on fire? Now, what did he mean? He meant we done did everything.
Yeah.
We done tried everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one set of things we ain't tried. What's that? Not tolerating the nonsense. That's it. It ain't no explanation. Ain't no praying. Ain't no reasoning. Ain't no coming together. Ain't no none of that. If you're coming with that nonsense, then we as a collective should mean to bring about your immediate demise.
Wow.
And that's all.
That's it. That's it. That is it. And somebody on one of the platforms that we have here, they said two wrongs don't make a right. They said two wrongs don't make a right. That's their input, and that's how they feel about it. And so Papa J is the name. Said
great. And you don't do wrong and you won't get a response to wrong. See, that's the ignorance I'm talking about right there. Don't do me wrong and expect me to pray for you and forgive you and accept you. That ain't happening no more. I will forgive you when I throw dirt on top of you in your grave. Then I'll forgive you. Now, you don't want me to have that mindset, but that's the mindset I got now. Now what?
Wow.
You don't want it, don't commit the offense. But if you commit the offense, fully expect recompense. And that brings about your ultimate and immediate demise.
Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. We're talking about the Emmitt Till situation, and he just got a statue in Greenwood, Mississippi. It was erected October the 21st, which was Friday, 2022. Captain Leonard, good morning, sir. What's on your heart this morning? How you doing?
Good morning, Mr. Ashame.
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Family. I'm doing fine. I heard your question about it's about the statue.
Yes.
I'm sure whoever worked for that, I'm happy for them. To get what they wanted.
It's about to be a turn, y'all. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I'm just saying. I mean, I noticed it. That's something someone's doing that has nothing else to do with me. I'm not. I don't have this anything else about it. That's what someone set out to do, and they accomplished that. I wasn't a part of it, and I don't know them people, but I'm glad they got what they wanted.
What does it say? What does it say to your heart? 67 years later, there's a statue erected in his honor. What does that say to you?
Well, I mean, it's for him to recognize what he went through as a reminder of what happened. How should I feel about it?
Don't know. I have to ask you the question, brother.
Right, because I don't have any extra feelings for it. That it is what it is. I imagine if I went there to visit, I would go see it.
What do you think of the young lady that a few years ago said that it came out that she lied and the truth came out that she did lie, but now he is still dead. He's been dead for a long time. You can't bring him back.
Right.
You can't bring him back. There's nothing you could do in regards to that. How do you feel about her? What should happen to her, if anything?
I don't think no more should happen to her than happens to anyone in their lives about being raped. But a lot of women lie about being raped, but we don't even have laws that go after those women for that.
Now,
so it's not like it's the first or the last time.
Was her story that she was raped? Or that
I don't know if
he whistled at her,
but I think it had a sexual connotation to it.
I think it was that he supposedly whistled at her.
He pretty much, had intentions or what have you. Made some type of gesture or what have you that they didn't appreciate. But whatever it was, it didn't deserve what happened.
Absolutely.
So that's the issue is, what are you going to do about the lie, about the laws and things like that? And is that still happening? You know, I'm not going to go back and sit around and waste today worrying about something that happened then. Especially if I don't have a connection to that.
Somewhere
it was for the family.
Exactly. Somewhere it was said that a man that do not know his history is doomed to repeat it. And so there's a possibility.
Well, that's ignorance. You know, a lot of people throw that out there, but history is what it is. Go read it. It ain't going nowhere. It ain't been nowhere.
But that don't mean it's gonna go away, or that these kind of acts are not going to happen
again. It's always
again.
going to be there. It's going to be there 30 years from now.
But that does not mean that some of these acts that we're talking about, some of these situations, it's just happen. It happens every day.
But if all you gonna do is sit around and just talk about them and do nothing.
My point is that's my point. We have something have to happen.
How about making sure you get people in office that are more concerned about you and your interests?
That's one step.
Law enforcement.
That's one step, Leonard. But the others, I think other steps have to be taken as well. That's a good step. Putting the right people in the office. That's one, but that's only one step. Those we have to travel a mile, so we have to take more than one step.
Cry about it for 20 years, 20, 30 years.
No one is suggesting that, brother. No one is suggesting that. But what I am saying is this: if we're traveling for a mile, that's one step. That's a huge step in putting the right people in the office. But we have other steps that we have to take in order to stop these situations and these terrible things, lack of a better term, from happening.
Exactly.
Let me go to
going forward. That's what we should be doing.
Absolutely.
That's what we should be talking about.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal. Toussaint, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Toussaint, you there? Wait, Toussaint.
I was wrestling with a mute button.
Your neck of the woods, brother. Your neck of the woods. Greenwood, Mississippi. Are you familiar with that area?
Somewhere around here.
Okay. They erected a statue, Emmitt Till. Statue on Friday. They say they erected a statue of Emmitt Till. Toussaint, what is on your heart concerning this whole situation?
Not too much. They still got one of Robert E. Lee and all the rest of them.
Wow.
Statue. It's just something to look at. You should send everybody a picture. And that's good that they did that. But, you know, that's not justice. That's commendable. But it's not justice. Because the act.
What would justice look like?
The one that caused.
Go
get that woman. Go get that woman. Go pick her up.
So you want to go get an 80-something-year-old woman and lock her up?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yeah. And everybody else involved. The judge too. The lawyers, if they still living, that was part of it. That did not do whatever they were supposed to do, and those that perjured themselves, get them too. Get them all, line them up, bring them all in, and whatever the price, the penalty for the crime that was committed, all of them, every one of them, whatever the penalty for that type of crime. Because if I rob a bank and you with me, you go to jail too.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I do something so horrible to a person and you with me, we all get the needle, the knife, the electric chair, whatever it is, all of us, right?
Yes, sir. Every one of us.
Do that. Don't build me. You don't need to build me no statue. I mean, that's good, but that's not justice.
Wow.
When this society, and I've been in the South all my life, I know how they operate. They make you smile and have you a dinner, feed you some sandwiches to shut your mouth, and move right along, business as usual.
Nothing changes. Nothing changes. Hopefully they can't talk with their food in their mouth. Paul, good morning. Paul, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Morning, Raheem. Morning, Glow. Yeah, there's so many areas on this, but yeah, I'm just glad I don't live in the South. Everything I hear about it sounds pretty bad. And no offense, I know you guys probably love it because but there's a lot of dysfunctional. If you look at the states that have some of the worst metrics for poverty, incarceration rates, and all that stuff, it's usually the South, usually red states. So that's because the people in power don't want to fix those things. And but anyway, about the Emmitt Till thing, yeah, it's good. It's symbolic, I guess it's to whoever. I don't know the details of that particular case, but somebody lobbied for this, saying, we need to acknowledge this brutality that occurred in the past, and that's good. But like Joseph was saying, there's problems now, and others have said, let's work on these problems. I don't know that statute will change anything. As I've said before, I knew about the brutality of white supremacy as a young child, and I'm 51 years old. So it's not like this information is just brand new and people are like, oh, well, now I know the truth. You know what I mean? It's like, this is not news to anybody, So the other thing I want to say is like, that was about basically the white people were deeply afraid of interracial relationships, and that still exists. And as somebody who's mixed race, I can speak to that a little bit. And the interesting thing that I've seen is, there's a lot of black people now, prominent black people in the media, Tariq Nasheed being one, and many others of the quote unquote new black media, who are also deeply, deeply opposed to interracial relationships. So I don't know, maybe people have an opinion on that, but I mean, I'm okay with people do whatever you want to do. If you want to go with someone from your race, great. If you don't, well, I don't care. Just be a good person, but some other people don't think like that. So that's how I feel about it.
Okay. Good deal. Mr. Hicks, talk to Mr. Rico. Coming to you next.
Yes, sir. I was thinking about a surah in Quran, and I won't say it in Arabic, just the English. And it just says, throughout the dawn of time, man will find himself in a state of loss, except for him that does good deeds and enjoin others toward patience. I think, the climate and the times that these things happen, I mean, who you punish? You punish the whole crowd, you punish the whole culture, you punish everybody that was raised in school with these teachings of Darwin, that they were better and there was a difference between the races, and that was the thinking. But over these events being publicized, it's almost like they had cell phones that could take pictures of it. But this was a time when they had some actual facts of it. It brought people to really, really contemplate what they've been taught. I mean, to hear about these things, in 55 when this thing happened, with Emmitt Till is coming out of the area where there was 100,000 people was lynched daily. I mean, it was lynching black folks, white folks was lynching white folks. Lynching was the culture. They had this thing about their pride and the woman on the pedestal. I was watching a movie last night about jazz, the jazz club. It's about in the same time area where this mulatto girl, her mother took her north and she passed for white, and they came back south, but she was in love with this other guy. Anyway, it just came down to it. I didn't see the end of it. I had to keep turning it off. It's too emotional for me because I was feeling this stuff. Is that in the end, this old woman who comes out, she brings all the letters this guy wrote her and trying to show there's a murder here. I want you to go back and sort this out. And it's not so much to get what you call justice. It's just to get exposure. It's just don't let this thing be hidden. Don't bury it. At the Nuremberg trial, they laid down a couple things that, and one of them was that you can't say that you was following orders to do something if it went against what they put down some moral standards. And so that you can't say I was ordered to do it. But in South Africa, under the reconciliation program,
They pointed out that there's a system and everybody involved in this system through social pressure and just going along. Is that you couldn't punish all these people who were reacting in the system. You had to look at the system.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to have everybody that operated in that system stand up before the people and explain what you've done and what you know was done, the killings and the torturing and but bringing it out of the open, not concealed. So I think a lot of times with this thing here, I see more or less bringing something out that was attempted to be covered up.
Okay.
Even though it was covered in the news. Yeah, but yeah, I won't talk about more of that. That's pretty unsaid. But the patience. You know, I mean, it's easy to say, man, I remember I came out and grabbed me an AK-49. I wanted to raise war. And it's the reality, looking at it strategically, that ain't the weapon's going to win it for you.
Yeah.
That ain't the strategy going to win. It's not going to win.
Wow. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. The phone lines are open. Give us a call. We definitely love to hear from you. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
You know how sometimes when people feel guilty about some things that they do, but they don't want to admit that they were all the way wrong, so they find a way to appease you? Well, how about we put a statue up? Some of these city council meeting members that voted to put that statue up probably won't vote on resolutions to help a certain community that represents Emmitt Till. Now, I like what everybody said. It is a gesture. It is symbolic. It is what it is. Leonard hit it on the head. You know, somebody fought for that. Congratulations. I'm glad y'all got that accomplished. But now this is what the reality of it is. Somebody that voted to get that statue put up ain't voting for certain things for certain communities. I guarantee you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But they feel like their conscience feels a little better because I hope I have to vote for the Emmitt Till statue.
Did it sound like that, brother?
Oh, you know they'll do it.
Yes, sir.
But see, I always think about the reality of things. You know what I'm saying? What's going to happen is he has plenty of memorials. Oh, yeah, that young man that was executed, his name was Edward Stinney Jr. There's so many more. I think Medgar Evers has a statue, if I ain't mistaken. I might be wrong. So certain monuments and certain statues and all these different things, like I said, Juneteenth holiday, we get a lot of symbolic things, but we don't get justice. So here is the monument honoring Emmitt Till, who still never got justice for being wrongly killed at a young age, young man. So we're going to put this statue up to honor him, but are we going to put it in the history books? Is this statue going to teach our young black men why they shouldn't be killing each other? Or is this statue going to prevent the next Ahmaud Arbery or George Floyd? Because they might have some statues in the next 60 years. They already put one up of George Floyd up in New York. I was up there when they did it. Nice, beautiful, symbolic. But what is that going to stop the next case of racist killing and injustice? Now, we could say that the people that killed Ahmaud Arbery, that was just a serve. But hold on. There were some people in place, elected officials. They let them people stay out on the street and didn't arrest them after it happened because they was going to let them off if they could have. And they had it on camera and they was going to hide that too, just like that warrant for that woman that lied on Emmitt Till. They're going to stuck it down and let it get lost in the basement and then find it take 60 years from now. But somebody said, it's a new day and a new time. We ain't finna play that. Let's put this tape out here. It ain't just about these cops no more. It's about these DAs. They just sat back and said, well, hey, he's a good guy. And yeah, he really, truly, he wasn't even cop anymore, but we let him go and do it because he's a good fella. That system. The same system that will go back, man, I love when Captain Dennis went him. Go back and lock up all these Nazis, but then let Van Buren come over here and pretty much let him build a whole city of Huntsville. Because he had other values, double standards. So they worked. This was a good Nazi, even though he built all of them. He designed all the machines that helped them do all the mass killing. Well, we'll give you a slide because you valuable to us. and capitalism in our agenda.
Mm-hmm.
The corporate part of America. So we got these things in place, man, that we have to look at that contribute to this situation that we're in, that creates this double standard, this white supremacy, and the people that feel like it's cool to appease societies and group of people
Mm-hmm.
that have been oppressed or wronged with statues.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the statue might be good and honorable, but have you stopped the situation that exists or the conditions that exist that has somebody able to feeling like they can kill me and get away with it in the police departments, in the judicial system?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Leonard said something key, man. What we're going to do about it?
Exactly.
Because we got plenty of statues. There's a lot of statues already been up before this one.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're going to do about it? What
Absolutely.
can we do about it? Are we going to cry? Or are we going to do whatever every other group has done? The Jews, the Asians, and the LGBTQ, which are getting their agendas addressed, they are voting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good.
We got to get involved.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Badger, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
Man, fighting for a better the fight against the systematic racism, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, through me researching and all kinds of stuff, I don't think it's going to end until the folks in power find another way to make income.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, because that's the way their evil brains work. There's so much. You know, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm sitting here weighing it.
Mm-hmm.
The way certain people get away with certain crimes, especially to that degree, it's sort of like how the most recent lynch bill revamp. I had such an issue with it because to me it wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they're like, well, there's other bills that will be added on top of that one, and I'm like, it to me, the consequences of wasn't enough to match that crime, even though there might be another law that, you know, covers murder or things like that. It's an evil deed is an evil deed.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that so much of it gets overlooked and not, I wouldn't say it's overlooked by all. I do feel that it's overlooked by the majority.
Mm-hmm.
The way there has been so much that's happened that I feel the effects in communities have been quite rough.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Mm,
508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Cat, what's on your heart? Then we're going to Pete after you. Cat, what's on your heart?
You know, I kind of think that everybody's saying the same thing. Justice will be bringing them to the court and trying them for the crimes that they committed in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I think we're giving them more than what they gave Emmitt Till.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't give him a trial. They didn't give him a jury. But we're trying to be a little bit more civilized and still saying that they should be tried. And I think that's commendable. But I don't want nobody to think that what my brother said, with the passion that he spoke, that this is, we call it being a vigilante, because see, America, she is not a forgiving nation. She is a retaliation nation.
Mm-hmm.
America does not forgive her enemies. I don't care if someone, a foreign government, attacked one United States American citizen, America would put the whole force of her army to go after them. And they don't care how many innocent people get killed in the pursuit. But when it comes to us, two wrongs don't make no right. The Holy Quran says retaliation is good for you. If you, but we are prescribed in them as Muslim retaliation. We're prescribed that. Why? Because I remember back in the 60s that there was so much police brutality in Harlem that one time the residents in Harlem went to the rooftop with big bricks and stones. And when the 5-0 came through certain streets in Harlem, they would send them stones crashing down on those police cars. And guess what? Guess what? There wasn't a whole lot of more police brutality. Or somebody would have said, two wrongs don't make no right. Somebody would have said, man, that's violent. But look what it accomplished.
Yeah.
See, it's when you realize that, like my brother said, when you get so fed up, you don't need nobody to tell you what to do. If somebody hurt your family member, y'all talk all that smack. I don't know how far we asked you one question and you talk about biracial marriage. That wasn't even a question. We want to know what you think about the woman. Did you think she should have been tried? Do you think she should have got off? We went from there to biracial marriage. I'm like, well, how did that? All right, let me leave that alone. We can't duck the reality. When black people start speaking with this kind of spirit, everybody, yes, white folks is afraid. You said white people are afraid. Why are they afraid of us? Why are they afraid of us? We got a history of them doing it to us, not us doing it to them. What have we done? Even so, if nothing happens, Leonard, well, you know, that was in the past. Yeah. But brother Raheem quoted, you know, history is best qualified to reward all of our research. Well, hell, you got to study the past, because evidently we didn't learn nothing, because it may not be Emmitt Till today, George Foreman tomorrow, somebody else the next day. So evidently we didn't learn nothing. Lynching is lynching. Whether you lynch by putting your knee on a man's neck, lynch by shooting a man in the bed, getting up and you shooting 60 times in Akron, Ohio. Lynching is lynching. Malcolm said faces and places may change, but the game remains the same. And you know why it keeps happening? Because we forget the past. Well, that's in the past. Well, I love to talk about the Jews because they don't have that kind of spirit. But we do, a forgiving spirit. They don't have that kind of spirit. No matter what you do, you know, they went after Osama bin Laden. They didn't give up on this man. They went and got him. So here we are looking at our perpetrators, our tormentors, but we supposed to, you know, two wrongs don't make no right. Come on, man. See,
let me ask you this.
What they're afraid of.
Captain, let me ask you this question real quick. Now, and you're absolutely right. We're very forgiving, but are we very forgiving to a fault?
You asked me, are we forgiving to a fault?
Yes, sir, to a fault. I mean, does it hurt us? Are we so forgiving that it hurts us over and over and over again, and we just keep on forgiving?
But look here, my man Rico said it. It's kind of hard. I think maybe Rico. It's kind of hard to look at the Emmitt Till story. Some people can't look, but you know what they're looking at? How is it that the Jeffrey Dahmer story broke at the same time in the Emmitt Till story? How come? Is that a coincidence?
No.
You would rather look at Jeffrey Dahmer than to look at Emmitt Till. Black people, I don't want to look at Emmitt Till. I can, but you look at Jeffrey Dahmer, eat black people. Do you see? Is that a coincidence? Did somebody know that the Emmitt Till? See, it's like roots. You don't want to show roots.
out of certain passion. Because nobody wants, but I've never seen no Jewish person who don't look at the daggone Holocaust. They're gonna make this good. No matter how dangerous it is, the fault? I don't think it's a fault if it's intentional. How's it gonna be a fault if it's intentional? But our people learn. Stop trying to be so forgiving, man.
Yeah.
When God said that, listen, everybody in Sodom and Gomorrah was not freaks. There was children who was not freaks. Did God say, well, I'm gonna just get the freaks, the unholy, and he killed everybody. So you're gonna be more than God? We're gonna be more than God?
Wow.
Deep.
Wow. Pete, what's on your heart, brother? And that coming to you next, sis. Pete, you there?
No, I didn't know. Well, that's where we are in the conversation, and we need to get there to a degree in certain areas with certain situations as a people. The intolerable is exactly that. It's intolerable. The lack of consideration, humanity, justice, all these different infractions that we know we've been dealing with. We got so much history, blah, 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 blah. When it show up, we should kill it instantly. Hunt it down, kill it, destroy it. I'm telling you, when we see racism against us, just because we are who we are ethnically, and you bring that to us, that should be immediately your death. Because we just don't tolerate that no more. When we have these egregious situations of offense and disrespect and disregard against us because of who we are ethnically, you just killed yourself presenting that position against us. Don't matter who you are. You could be amongst us and be against us for being us just as we simply are us. The first one of us that can get you in the bullseye gonna blow your head off. And we ain't trying to hear nothing from nobody else. From nobody. Because if you're not gonna do right, then it's incumbent upon us as beings to bring about what's right relative to opposition. And that's no explanation, no regard. I'm talking about no consideration for nothing outside of us. I'm explaining nothing to you. The explanation you will get is the same in kind that offender got. Don't ask no questions. It's been time for us as a people to get there. Pray. You're a Muslim, then pray to Allah, the Prophet Muhammad. You believe in Confucius, Buddha, Ali, Jesus the Christ, then we should be praying to them to usher us in with strength, wisdom, knowledge, and determination to exemplify all.
Did we just lose Mr. Pete? Brother Pete, you there?
Hope the FBI didn't cut him off.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because it just stopped abruptly, just like that, man. Don't usually go like that. Let me go to Annette. We'll come back to Pete. Annette, what's on your heart, sis? Talk to me. And let me do this. We're gonna go Annette Leonard, Annette Leonard, then Willa. Go ahead, Annette.
Hey, this is so deep, but you know what? I will say that there is a thrust in America for sensationalism. Okay. When Hearst and started the newspaper, okay, and it was all about news, right? And so what I think that after the pandemic, then isn't it interesting that this topic is coming out at this time before midterm elections? Everything is orchestrated. The playbook is real. So my charge to people is, how do we the people, and what do we the people do ahead of schedule, okay, to create these equity positions? And I'm talking about equity spiritually, equity financially, equity in moral values. I think we are always behind the 8 ball as far as we the people. because everybody's like beaten down. White, black is beaten down because, our Caucasian brethren are saying, why are you blaming me? And this wasn't my generation. The black people are saying, hey, this white supremacy. And so what happens is that everyone continues to blame everybody. They sound like Satan to me. See, when there's confusion, Satan is in it all day long. So I believe that what we have to do is take it from a position of strength. What do we do going forward so that generations don't create their demise? What do we do so that when somebody's lying against somebody, how we have to, file papers in the court to challenge the judges and challenge or should I say, challenge those judicial officers, because there's really no more judges in the United States of America. They don't want to tell the truth. But, the bottom line, we have to challenge this on paper, like we playing spades and bid whist. We got to, put the paper on the table. So I would say, let's put the paper on the table and let's try to help people out of their shells of ignorance and sorrow.
Wow. Good deal. 508. Let me do this. We got Pete. I think we got Pete back with us, and it was something was said. Something was said to him. Pete, it said, this was written to you, Paul, public citizen. He said, I get the feeling that Pete thinks most white people are violent white supremacists. That is a strange mentality to my point of view. Do you want to comment on that?
That's his opinion. That's not my perspective at all. So you interpreting your perception of what you assume I mean, and that's not what I mean at all. So you're wrong. You're entitled to your opinion, but your opinion is wrong. And understand something, public citizen. What I'm saying is for me and mine that understand it. If you're not amongst my ethnicity, play, it ain't for you, right? It ain't even for you to comment on. And you need to be careful commenting to the degree of this subject matter, because I'm talking about us as a being, people with the flesh and blood spirit beings that have rights as being beings on this planet. They ain't got nothing to do with you if you ain't amongst the ranks. So respectfully, you need to be careful to keep your comment to yourself. I've been said it's not all white folks. So if you was listening, so obviously you wasn't listening. So your infantile development, your lacking of intelligence, and your intellectual ability to comprehend what I was saying is blaring and lacking. So in layman terms, I'm telling you 621, figure it out. Know the alphabet. That's my response to that. Okay. And like I was saying in the first place, before I got cut off, disconnected, or whatever, no matter that it's uncomfortable, it's that time with us as a people to be intolerable to intolerable things. Period. Stop playing, procrastinating, hoping, dreaming, marching, begging, asking. Later for that. Lift some weights, eat some vitamins, get a good meal, and be ready to kick some tail all around the area until they understand your position with who you are as a being on this planet. And if we can't have our piece of the rock, then it ought not to be no rock. It ought to be a pebble, because we're going to use all of it to destroy everything that's saying we can't have our piece.
Wow. Let me go to Leonard, and then we're going to Willa. Do we have Willa back? Let me see. We have Willa for a second. I think we lost her. Hopefully she'll be back by the time.
Yeah, I'm back now.
Okay, good deal. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Like I said, I really understand where Peter's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, I think I said it last week or so, or I may have been speaking with Badger offline. And it was about the notion of how are white people going to be involved in this change?
Mm-hmm.
If you're against repairing what was broken, you ain't going to be a part of it. If you always got an excuse for not rectifying a situation, you won't be a part of the revolution. Because there's a lot of folks that's about revolution, and they both black and white. So it's righteous people that have to fight for revolution.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't sit back your white skin and act as if you got better information, because you don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. I came across a quote that I really like. With reasonable men, I will reason. With humane men, I will plead. But to tyrants, I will give no quarter, no waste of argument, where they will certainly be lost. I'm not arguing about you being wicked. Police officers would stop killing black men if when they got home, they found their dead children in their homes. That's
Wow.
what it's going to take to stop them. Because they're bred like that. They won't change. And this is why it's so important. You ain't even got to kill nobody. All you got to do is go vote. All you got to do is show up in overwhelming numbers. Because you have to put people in power that have your interests at heart.
Go have to do all of the above.
Right. They allowed the South to still put them same fools in office that rebelled against them in the war. Why? This was back since Reconstruction. The reason why you have the court system the way it is now, because discretion is for white folks. Take away discretion. Everybody gets the same thing. You don't even need a judge sitting there no more. Put it in a machine. So that's the way you get rid of it. Where you sit, where it is at. You don't need to sit down and sit here and have a pity party about something that happened 80 years ago or something just happened yesterday. If you're going to get justice, get it. Fight for it. I just so tired of people talking about, I lay down my life, but you ain't even got to do that. Go down there and vote. Go down there and get jobs at the police force. Go wherever they are at and destroy what they have built. Make that your goal to do that. Somebody come up to you and tell you to do something that's unreasonable. Are you going to do it?
No.
Or are you going to question it? Too many of y'all beat around the bush and you go sit down when you told to go sit down. I ain't been to a job that said anything crazy to me, and it wasn't my last day.
Exactly.
I'm that serious about it. Because if I wanted your money and everything, I'd take it from you. But I'm trying to work with you. But when we get to the point where we can't get justice, we're going to have to take it. We don't need to speak about it. I don't need Raheem's permission on the Black Council, Congressional Black Caucus to go after somebody that went after my son.
Exactly. 50. There you go. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Your phone number is out there. Give us a call. What do you think? What's on your heart? You want to talk to us? Give us a call. Let's have that conversation. Let's talk today. Willow!
Hey, Raheem.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Raheem, I am doing fine this morning. I thank God for waking me up. I thank God for giving me the opportunity to get what I didn't do right, to get it right in my life, Raheem. And good morning, morning glow. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning to you. Good morning to you. We're talking about Emmitt Till in Greenwood, Mississippi, Friday on the 21st. They put up a statue in his honor. He's been gone 67 years, 67, 68 years. And they built a statue in his honor. What do you think about that? What's on your heart behind that whole situation?
Well, as far as that situation, it's honorable to the family for putting up the statue, but it doesn't take away from the pain. You know, I mean, we could literally say people could give us restitution and all that other stuff, but as a human being, when your family member has been hurt or has been touched by people that unrighteously did things to them, you can't take away the pain with a statue. You can't take away the pain with money. You can't take away the pain with saying, I'm sorry. Because their mother, it was me, someone hurt my child, I know for a fact that it will be extremely painful. And there's nothing you could do to nothing you as a human could do to calm that pain down. Only God can.
Absolutely.
Only God can, and time can. But can I say this, Raheem? Because what I'm hearing, you know, I always believe this about DKM radio show, media, that when you ask me a question about what's on my heart, you've given me permission to be honest
Yes.
about what's on my heart.
Absolutely.
So if I'm honest about what's on my heart, whatever I have to say should be respected like it would if you said something.
Mm-hmm.
You don't challenge what's on my heart. Because I don't believe, Raheem, that you put anybody on your show that try to be disrespectful or try to hurt somebody. They're simply saying what's on their heart.
Absolutely.
And as an individual, we have to deal with another person's opinion and idea of what they say or what they think. You can't change it. You have to listen to it because that's what Raheem asked. He said, what's on your heart? So when you do that, I believe that DKM radio would always be a successful radio show to me when you're able to be honest about something that what's on your heart. Like I'm saying, because my brother did it, don't blame me because my brother was an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what I want to say, Ryan. That's exactly what I want to say because I've been listening and it just seems like, I love, let me tell you something. I love the way DKM radio is. I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
But don't attack people for saying what's on their heart.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me go to I think we have Toya with a T. Toya with a T. You with us, sis? Toya?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good
How
morning.
y'all doing?
How you doing this morning?
I'm doing all right. How about y'all?
Yeah, doing good. Doing good, sis. I gotta hear your heart on this. We're talking about Emmitt Till. They Friday on the 21st of this year, they put up a statue in his honor. He's been gone 67, 68 years. I want to know what's on your heart behind that whole gesture. Good, bad, and the ugly. What's on your heart, sis? Talk to me.
Okay, I think I missed the part. You said the gesture. What's the gesture?
How do you feel about that gesture that they did when they put a statue up in his quote unquote Mississippi, Greenwood, Mississippi, put a statue up in Emmitt Till's honor. 67, 68 years after his death. After his death, they put up that statue. What do you feel about that? What do your heart say to you at this particular time?
Well, thanks for the recognition. You understand what I'm saying? See, that's how they do us, though. That's how we get done. It's a whole heap of statues that need to be up, truth be told, because they laying us out and still laying us out. I mean, we wouldn't have no people if we started putting up statues of all the black people that they killed. You know what I'm saying? But what else can you do when you've taken somebody's life? You know what I'm saying? What else can you do when somebody lost their life in the name of racism? You know what I'm saying? So I think the gesture's all that one can do, but it's just as challenging as, when you watch the story about how they didn't want the casket to be open, but the mother was like, no, let them see what they did to my baby.
Mm-hmm.
That was outstanding because she wanted to make a point about the things that goes on in our community. You know what I mean? So those two things are like hand in hand. It's a reminder for those who really know the story. It's a reminder on, what America has been responsible for. You know what I mean? So it's just a reminder, but I don't think it makes it any better. You know what I'm saying? It still leaves bitterness. Because just what happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you gonna give me a statue? I couldn't be a relative because I'd be acting up right now. Like I get it, but a statue? Nah, bring my uncle back.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Because it's nothing you can ever do to replace the tragedies that went on while being black in America.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we all need medals because it's really a syndrome that we have to deal with. That we got to watch the statue of this boy who was beaten for something that he didn't do. The lady lied, still got away, and it's like a statue that you niggas better remember what it is over here in America.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too far into it, but considering the fact that we still got black innocent men dying for no reason, that statue still makes me feel like, what you niggas is gonna get in America, so you better stay in your place.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother? And we got another caller. We're gonna go to the new caller in just 1 second. Caller, hold on. We're coming to you next. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
You was in a conversation that made your blood boil.
Mm.
This it right here.
Wow. Wow.
Because it's like, I wish I could say pissing in the wind on public radio.
Well, you just did, brother.
And get away with it.
You just did. You just did. We're gonna put you in the cone in a minute, but you just said it. Go ahead, Mr. Hicks. Well, Tucson, finish your thought, brother. What's on your heart?
No, I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got another statue. Good. You got a statue of Martin Luther.
Mm-hmm.
But who killed him?
Mm.
Were they ever brought to trial?
Mm-hmm.
Were they ever convicted? We can bring people to trial, but conviction, prosecution, and justice seems to never go. It gets undone. So there was a movie, Avengers, and the Hulk comes on his scooter, David Banner, and they say, don't you think you ought to get angry? See, I'm no different from Pete.
Yeah.
I've been angry. It just takes the right moment to set me off.
Yeah.
And this one.
Wow.
So, that's kind of like two things I don't tolerate. Don't spit on me and don't kick me.
Yeah.
For you to it's kind of like instead of doing the right thing, you bring me, I'm gonna say it again, you just bring me a sandwich. And say thank you for all your tolerance. I ain't tolerating none of that. So I'm just listening.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna listen in. Because I'm telling you, I'm hot as a firecracker. The more I listen, the more I'm hot. Because when you say two rights don't make a wrong, don't make a right, what wrong? If I take the one that's responsible up to in the clouds in the plane and push him out the plane, then that ain't wrong.
Wow. That's a heck of a fall. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. We got another call. Don't recognize the call. I think it says Dennis. Is it Dennis?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Dennis, how you doing this morning? How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Hey, doing well. And thank you for calling, brother. I think it's your first time calling. Am I correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. Good to have you, brother. Definitely good to have you. You're more than welcome to always be a part of the conversation. We're talking about Emmitt Till right now. We're talking about in Mississippi. I think it was Greenwood, Mississippi. They erected a statue of Emmitt Till 67, 68 years after his death. Dennis, what do you think? What does that say to you?
Well, to me, it says that after 67 years, we still haven't gained any respect as a people. And basically, a statue that doesn't tell the whole story. So a statue that people just walk by, but okay, they don't even know who it is for the youngsters, but it just says, well, what does the inscription say about the statue? So does it prod others to look into it to see what are taking place? The heinous act, was there any justice? No.
Was there any compensation? No. Matter of fact, those folks that actually did it, what is it? They were released the next day. They even sold their story for $5,000 or $7,000. So those are the things that we've got to understand. And for me, understanding as a people, we have a universal problem where, whether here in the United States or elsewhere, we are not respected as a people. Simply because we've learned to turn the other cheeks and basically tell others, well, I mean, we're giving you as opposed to taking. If someone takes something from you, you take it back from them. So what have we learned in those years? To be more docile, I believe, and not to challenge what they have done to us. So the question is, it keeps happening over and over again.
Yes.
And the only way it happens is because we allow it to happen. It's the simple fact. Our mindset is to forgive and forget.
Now, Mr. Dennis, what
And
do you,
until that change,
Mr. Dennis? Let me ask you this question: What do you think? What do you think should happen at this point in time? We in 2022, and this has been going on for a long time. At this point in time, what should we, as a people, what should we do?
we've got to do reinforcement in educating our children. The public school isn't going to teach us anything. So how is it that after 100 years or so, we're actually, in my opinion, have not progressed to the point where we are respected. Others take advantage of us. So obviously something's going wrong for us. We've got to educate, do some reinforcement type of education to our youngsters. So when it comes to the next 30 years, if we're investing in their understanding of what it is the American system have done to us, then they'll be better equipped for the future. But if we keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a different results, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So are we re-educating our youngsters or letting them know what time it is? No. We're allowing others in the public system to teach us. And that's not going to end until we start doing it for ourselves.
Absolutely. That's good.
That's my opinion. So
and I definitely appreciate it.
It's not going to get any better
unless we make a difference. Unless we make a difference. Absolutely. Good deal. Joseph, what's on your heart? Then we got Ibrahim. Gonna go to Ibrahim. Joseph, talk to me, brother. Joseph, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Hey, man, there's a lot of good meat being served this morning. A lot of good breakfast.
Yes, sir.
Back to what my brother Paul was saying, I understood what he was saying. It's very powerful what he's saying, in fact. And I know he got some feedback on it, but interracial marriage is a factor in the struggle. Even though, as Dr. King said, races do not marry, individuals do. So I don't see you won't see masses of Asian people trying to, marry outside their race, black, and the various ethnic groups. Most people, prefer to marry within their race. But counter to what the racists were trying to do when they were trying to stop miscegenation, even though even though many of the white men had already defiled our women and created many mixed race children coming out of slavery and even immediately following. If you go back and read Rosa Parks' history, one of the things she talked about, one of the duties she had was to take reports from black women who had been raped by white men. They leave that part when they're talking about Rosa Parks. They just make her look like a seamstress, but she's more than that. But anyway, with the racist mindset, they will not be able to marshal all their forces if there are so many
mixed race couples and families. That will pose a challenge in the event that violence broke out in this country, especially the way the MAGA people want to do it. So I get the call. I want you to know I'm listening. I'm paying attention. I don't think it was fair the way my brother attacked him, but then hey, he had his opinion too. But now this symbolic thing that Rico talked about, man, that's a very important piece. Ronald Reagan signed the bill making Dr. King's holiday a holiday, but look at what Reagan did in terms of releasing crack cocaine across the country in the Black community, low-income community, as Black and brown, poor whites too, and the way he began the process of rolling back the civil rights game. When Black leaders tried to meet with him, he sent out George Shultz to meet with them so that he wouldn't lend credence or strength to their argument by meeting with the president of the United States. Reagan did that, and he cut funding to many of the agencies that were supposed to have safeguarded our rights, such as equal employment opportunities. When you cut funding to these agencies, they can't carry out their mission. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Now, we missed that part because when he talked about budget cuts, that's what he was doing, but he was winking at the good old boys around, and they was all laughing and chuckling and carrying on, and they thought that they were so sophisticated and smart. But everybody's not ignorant, and all of us are not stupid. We're watching everything that moves. But the symbol of that statue of Emmitt Till, they think the governor in Mississippi thinks that by giving us a symbol, it can detract us or throw us off from looking at the other dirty things that they're doing.
Yes.
The other tricks that they're implementing to undermine the rights of Black folks. And we have to watch these things. Even the Juneteenth celebration, that's a symbol. But now we should take all these symbols and use them for rallying calls. See, all these things, because the racists don't think as critically as the oppressed, because the oppressed is receiving it. We can see what's going on. We are in the best position to come up with strategies to counter them and make them look stupid and make them fall flat on their face. Because, but we got to come together and put the think tanks together like they put them together. We got to assess what they're doing, and in fact, we got to preempt what they're about to do, because we could see what they're about to do, because they don't think.
Exactly.
That's one of the things that Dr. King and Malcolm X taught us during the 60s, when they were implementing strategy. They made them fall on their faces. They put them all on TV with the dogs, the hoses, and everything, and showed the whole world the naked truth about America, who claimed to be this human rights leader, who claimed to be this democracy for all, this model democracy. Dr. King put them all on display.
30 seconds.
It was a strategy. It was a strategy. And we've got to come up with new strategies today to make him fall on his face.
Absolutely.
And it don't have to be, you don't need guns to do that. You see, you don't need guns, and you don't have to return violence for violence to do that. Strategy, wisdom of God.
Good deal. Good deal.
That's my truth.
508-924-3521. We got a few more minutes before we get out of here. 508-924-3521. Have anything on your heart? Give us a call. Let us hear from you. Let us hear what's actually on your heart. Let me go to Ibrahim. Ibrahim, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Assalamu alaikum. How y'all?
Walaikum assalam. Doing well, sir.
It's hard to follow those two guys because this is what I've been speaking on ever since I came to your show, right? Man, so much I heard is important and on time today, and I got to pray to God give me strength to keep fighting for it. Now, education, right? And that's so much a part. But I think that what we forget nowadays, we want to educate our children when we don't have the education ourselves. We don't have the knowledge and understanding ourselves. We sit here and argue about the most pertinent things that I live my life and seen through, and people will call me outright a liar and tell me this would happen. And they don't have the information themselves to know how to proceed forward or to what to educate your kids. What are you going to tell your kids? The same thing that you're hearing yourself or heard yourself, or you tell your kids the same thing, the same lies, the same inconsistencies, the same thing. They wonder why they're angry when they can actually see themselves the difference between truth and fiction, right? Or go along with the fiction. And then what happens? If we don't understand how to use our weapons and how to use ourselves as a weapon? The body is a weapon. The mind is a weapon, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be in fight. We also have to have the symbols that they understand to be in contention. We can't turn away from the firearms, but we have to use the firearms correctly. But when we attack things, we should use our mind and also have a specific reason of what we're doing and what we want the outcome to be. We just can't go and think, just heretofore, and without a plan, we're not a plan. The plan is already there without actually doing something important, right? And doing what needs to go, that we won't get the outcome that we're searching for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I got to say. And I appreciate the gentleman speaking before me, everything that they said.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Walaikum assalam, sir. We're going to go in this order here. I'm going to try to get everybody in before we get out of here. We're going to go Badger, Annette, Rico, Leonard, and then Captain. Badger?
I was actually just talking to my wife about it, and she literally said, "How did they get away with it?"
We got you in there too, sir.
Like I told her like what all happened and the fact that they admit it and stuff, and she was like, "How did they walk out?"
Mm-hmm.
And then I told her that the jury was, at least from the news and everything I was reading, was all white. The grand jury that was, and I told her, I'm like, well, that's white privilege and white racism. And then she went, what do they think that anyone, if there was any black people on the jury, that they were going to be biased? And then she brought up other cases where it could also be thing that are like, well now are they going to make sure women can't be on the jury if there's a woman defendant? Then is it going to be biased because the woman could be feminist? Like, where's it going to stop? If that makes sense.
Well, where it's going to stop is like it's been enforced many times on here today, man. We have to be that force to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be that force to stop it, and if we don't, it's going to continue. It's not going to stop on its own. They don't want it to stop.
And it's going to be one of those things of we need to fight.
Absolutely.
White folks, black folks, native, indigenous, people from Mexico, whoever. We need to work together.
Absolutely.
And I hate it. With the way things are currently, I honestly feel like no matter how hard we fight for righteousness, it's going to boil down to we have to prove to the folks in power that they can still make money off of a country that isn't based on racism and separation.
Wow.
And until we can prove that, they're going to fight us hard, especially since they're the ones that are sitting in power right now.
And a lot of the ones that quote unquote supposed to be sitting in power, a lot of those, in order for that to be a reality, a lot of them got to die off. They got to die off in some kind of way.
Well, if I wasn't married, anyway.
Good. Toya with a T, you still with us? Is Toya with a T still with us? Hadn't heard from my sister in a minute. Toya with a T, you there? We might have lost Toya. I know she may be at work. And that coming to you, sister. What's on your heart? Annette, are you there?
Oh, I thought you said Toya. So
yeah, I did. She announced.
Yeah.
I came to you. What's on your heart, sis? Talk to me.
No. What's on my heart is we have to understand systems, right?
Mm-hmm.
If there was no indictment, when there's no indictment, it's called a no bill. right? So what should have happened and needs to happen and can still happen is going to the federal court and putting a challenge. It's called Grand Jury Rule 6. And it's putting a challenge to that no bill to make it a true bill. And you challenge the presentment that was made by the district attorney's office. Because obviously, when you look at the list of witnesses, obviously, there wasn't the right witnesses, number one. And then number two, none of his family was there to even attest to anything.
Mm-hmm.
So having a presentment, looking at that presentment, and maybe I'm going to try to see if I can find the presentment, because a lot of times that presentment that the district attorney's office or the prosecutor's office puts in place, it doesn't have the right information. Not only does it have the right information, they say that you're supposed to have 16 to 23 jurors. And a lot of times they strike out jurors. So something tells me that they might not even have had the jury pool necessary
Mm-hmm.
to even put that no bill forward. And there's so many things that systematically that we have to address. If we don't address them systematically, then you don't get that justice. And of course, a good colleague of mine out of Chicago said, Emmitt Till is dead. There's never going to be justice to that. But what we can do is we can challenge the system. That's all we have, is to challenge that system. And it's because there are people in place that have to be accountable.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Keep this thing going. Rico, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
And when we say there's not going to be justice for that, that don't mean just lay down and accept it.
Exactly.
But because them Jews showed it, they still locking people up to this day. And I wasn't even around during the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
This is first I was thinking earlier, I heard you say that they were gonna make a movie off this.
Yes.
I was just wondering, I wonder who's gonna make all the money off the movies and whose names is the biggest names on the contract to get all this done. Is it gonna be like what Kanye was talking about?
Yep, there you go. That's it. That's it.
Cause guess what? Nat Turner movie didn't get received too well.
Mm-hmm.
And you see what they did to Nate Parker. Just to destroy that movie, they destroyed his career.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I like what Dennis said. I like what Dennis said and Ibrahim said, man. This is about education. This is this whole thing was a big educational moment. Even with Annette just said about knowing systems. That's all about education.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets to a point where you have to understand that, these statues, they are symbolic. But now we can't look at these statues and these symbolic gestures as victories.
Mm-hmm.
Because justice still wasn't served.
Exactly.
Not when we still got a Ahmaud Arbery's and Eric Garner's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Black Lives Matter is this for a reason. Ain't that some Black Lives Matter back then too? And we still talking about it. Mm-hmm. So it goes back to education. How do we fix this? Tom Hanks said something. He said he was ticked off because he didn't know about Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Now, we just heard Leonard speaking earlier. Leonard is very educated. But somehow rape came in.
Mm-hmm.
White women being raped and not really knowing what all happened. But this is a part of our Black American experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't look at things as dwelling in the past, because really and truly education is all based off the past.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to become educated, what we're going to be educated from about the future? ABCs come from the past, math come from the past, Constitution come from the past, civil rights come from the past, World War I, World War II, all these things come from the past. We ain't dwelling on it. We're learning from it.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about Emmitt Till and Medgar Evers and Edward Stennis Jr., we're not dwelling in the past, but we're still making the point be known that, listen, man, this condition still exists.
Mm-hmm.
The trauma, the cause and effect, and the trauma that's the result of what has been going on in the past. The lies that were told, the miseducation, and the things that people just don't know because they don't know any better, like Tom Hanks.
Exactly.
So you know, but if we begin to start looking at statues as victories, if they didn't put that picture up, if they didn't make that statue look like the picture of him that his mama had with that open casket, because see, this is how it works psychologically. When I was listening to the story about Emmitt Till, you know, I was like, oh man, another black person. But then, you know, when it hit home, when I seen that picture of him opening up in that casket, wait a minute, this is a whole nother story now.
Mm-hmm.
It hit a little bit different.
Yeah.
But had I not seen that and known that it went on, it probably wouldn't have been a big deal to me.
Exactly.
But
wow.
That's important history, and that's history that should be taught. So Dennis and Ibrahim, man, and everybody that's just saying this about it being educated, if we don't do it ourselves, it won't happen, because you're not going to learn it in schools. And every day we learning more. We just learned about Juneteenth maybe 20, 30 years ago. Many people just finding out about it, and now all they want to do is pour it internal. They still don't even celebrate it right. They twerking on ambulances and selling ice cream. They're marketing it.
Wow.
So like I said earlier, I wonder who's going to make all the money off of this Emmitt Till movie.
Good deal. Yeah.
And it's just entertainment.
Wow. But I think we know who gonna pretty much make the money off of it. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Captain, come to you. Come to you next.
A whole lot is not on my heart, but you know, it's what y'all gonna do next. I'm more concerned about that. How you gonna get work done? How you gonna get work accomplished? What's the strategy?
What's the next move?
I don't have a strategy for yesterday. I don't have a strategy for yesterday.
That's good. That's
so
good.
You know, I know, like say for instance, when a person dies, you have a funeral. The purpose of the funeral is customary, and you grieve, the public grieving and mourning of the loss. The statue is a memorial. That's what it's for. They got a bunch of statues out at the cemetery. They're memorials. Now, what are you going to do going forward? We have to get ourselves prepared to live and things better for our children and our children's children. I seriously believe that I will live long enough to see racism go away.
Amen to that.
But sooner or later, like even with this election, we're finding it's not political party against party. It's ignorant against intelligence. We need to be on the side of intelligence, not ignorance.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because those people always lose.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal.
Look at it throughout. It doesn't matter. The faces change. The themes are the same. And it don't have to always be race. It could be class. Like I believe someone was also speaking about orientation, gender orientation, and things of that nature, and what have you. Look at the number of interracial children that we have. That's a huge positive in destroying racism. So we have to move towards those things that dismantle and destroy racism. Not those that not sit around at a dead still at a cemetery, staring and crying at a memorial.
Wow. Almost time for us to get out of here. Captain, what's on your heart, sir? Talk to me.
Well, I like to say this. First, let me clear something up. I did not, Paul, I'm sorry if you took that as an attack. It was not an attack. I wanted to see how that was verse subject agreement, how we was moving from Emmitt Till to interracial marriages. I didn't see the connection, and I kind of thought that is what we normally do. That's a distraction. I took it personally as a distraction. There's only 2, maybe 3 whites that's on this line, and whatever you have to say to me on this line with us, I think is very, very important, because I'm getting it from a white person's view. So I listen very carefully to what you say, Paul. I have a great respect for you. Matter of fact, the last time we talked, I honored and respect you for, wisdom, man. I mean, but I don't want nobody to misinterpret. I don't need Paul don't need no representation of my words, and I don't need nobody to tell I'm attacked. I don't like the word attack. I don't like that, because I ain't attacking nobody. We on the show when we get a chance to put our view. If I disagree with your view, don't get mad the way I come.
I didn't attack Foster Falls. I did take it, man. I didn't mean no insult about it. I just wanted to see how that had anything to do with Emmitt Till. Now, with that said, you know my philosophy. The person will not teach you right, they will not teach you right. So we're not expecting America to ever teach us right if she has a history of abuse, not treating us right. So education, yes, brothers, is most certainly very important. But we cannot send, and no Jewish person send their children to a German school. It don't make sense. You cannot send your children to the same oppressor and expect your oppressor to teach your children about the abuse of the history they have done. Forget about that. So what we got to do? Education, yes. But we have to have our own schools. We have to have our own clinics. And then we have to go through the history that has lied to us and disregard what is fact and what is not fact. And then we can't just stop with the history books. We got to start with the religious books too. Where have they misconstrued us? Where did we get messed up there? So yes, we got a big job to do, but we can do it. We can do it. But I do believe that we cannot change history unless we acknowledge the past and be able to say, you know what, I'm not going to do that no more. And I think that's how you change it. Yep. People on this line, every one of us going to leave this conversation and we're going to get into our little circle. I don't know what this conversation is going to do to lead to a bigger conversation with somebody. But you know what? I love it. I love your show, Brother Raheem. You do give us to speak what's on our heart.
Yes, sir.
And if somebody speaks on that heart, but don't take what somebody criticize them or somebody have a disagreement that we're attacking them. No, it's a big boys club.
Yeah.
The big boy player. You were able to jump in the water. Then don't get mad when somebody jump in there with you. That's what this show's all about.
Absolutely.
And I think, I mean, you come after me, but I don't need nobody to have you to defend Captain. Then I think I'm well able to defend myself. But that's the way it goes. So I just want to say that I hope nobody thinks I was attacking Paul. No, Paul got great respect because for him to come on this show and to deal, that man has the greatest respect for me because everybody ain't going to, and be honest, and it's not easy. It's not easy for Paul to do it. So I just want to make that clear for all those who want to think Captain D ain't got nothing to do but attack people. No. Don't take my words to be an attack. I don't appreciate that. That's all I can say.
Good deal. Well, it's 10:05.
You attacked me several times. I've been shut down on response. So hey.
Now see, now where they gonna come from right there? We gotta get out of here on a peaceful note, and y'all gonna talk about attacking. How we gonna do that? Rico, what's going on at 3:00 today, sir? Rico, you there? Rico, can you hear me?
No justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace. Let me see. Who?
Hey, all right.
Leonard.
Yes, sir.
Rico might be away from the phone for a second. What's going on at 3:00 today, sir?
Man, you did not get a chance to hear this show in its entirety.
he that tickle him every time when he say that. Go ahead, man.
Entirety. That's right. Go ahead.
Did y'all get my phone cut off? Did y'all hear me then? Because
don't hear Rico.
No, we couldn't hear you. Go ahead, Rico.
Okay. So y'all didn't hear nothing I said.
We heard the part. We heard the first part you said. But then I went around. I came back. When I came back to you for the closing, that's when we couldn't hear you. We heard your first comment though. But when
I said that about white supremacists might actually take that statue as a sign of celebration of victory for themselves.
Yeah, we heard that part. I just came back to you again. Okay. I came back to you again. Asked you what's going on at 3:00. Right. That's when we couldn't hear you.
Yeah, if you missed today's broadcast and would like to see or hear the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Good deal. Willow!
Let's go, Raheem. Let's go.
Hey, Willow, I need you to do. I got two prayer requests for you because Sandra said she's not feeling well today, so she wants you to add her into your prayer as well as Navy. Navy said she's not feeling good as well. And so they both said, would you add them into your prayer as you're praying out today? So I want to make sure that you get a chance. But let me ask you something. Are you ready?
Raheem, I am so ready to receive God's word. I'm ready,
Well, you know what?
Raheem, to receive this message.
Well, you know,
Come on,
I'm
Raheem.
only gonna say one more thing. You know what I'm gonna say? Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go before the throne of grace together, y'all. Let's humble our hearts. Let's open up our minds to the truth. We're going to his throne this morning with confidence, with boldness, and especially expectation. Father, we thank you for your grace. If there's anything that's broken, that's us as wounded people. We need your grace, Lord. We are always falling short in some kind of way. But as long as we have your glory and your love, Father, we know that we'll get the victory. We know the enemy walks around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. But Father, we know that you plan and orchestrate those things in our lives, oh Lord. Father, we believe your word for comfort. We believe your word for healing, Lord. Father, I'm asking you to touch Miss Cassandra and Miss Navy this morning, Father. Whatever's going on in their lives, Father, you know. Father, you are omnipresent, God. And we believe that you see all things. Father, we trust you because you see the hearts of men. Father, we trust you and believe that you would do anything but tell us, Lord. Father, I'm asking you, oh Lord, to touch each and every last one that's on this line, Lord. Search their hearts, Lord. Father, I'm asking you, oh Lord, to lead them and guide them in the right direction, Lord. Father, let them know the truth. Father, let them know that there's no other way, Lord, because I trust you, Lord. Father, I'm asking you to keep this show, DKM Radio Media, successful, Lord. Keep Raheem safe. Keep his family safe. Allow the Holy Spirit to give him power. Allow the Holy Spirit to give him direction. Allow the Holy Spirit to be a keeper, Lord. Father, I thank you so much. We honor you and we glorify you in Jesus' name. Amen, amen, and amen. Thank you, Lord, for the Holy Ghost.
Yes, Lord.
Thank you, Lord. Amen, amen, and amen. I thank you, Lord. Hallelujah.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Been a great broadcast, man. It's been a great broadcast today, man. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now 10:11. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And then we shine some of this light from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. God say the same.